That's what I heard, yeah. Had a little mechanical trouble.
Yeah.
Mics are hot. We're live. Right now.
Okay, we'll go hot too. I gotta send one more message.
Staying alive. It's a YouTube board. Remember the Office episode where they started singing when the baby was dying? And then Dwight cut the face off. I don't blame you. He gets the knife out.
I'm doing his job.
We don't want to do his job.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Campus Nation here at Clinton-Massie High School. We have a fantastic event tonight. It's the Friday night backyard bash because it's the Clinton-Massie Falcons versus the Wilmington Hurricane. We're going to get started with the game at about 7 o'clock. But taking you up to game time, myself, Matt Baker, and my co-host here, EJ Lamb. Say hi to everybody, EJ.
Hey, good to see everybody. And exciting to be a part of this again tonight and watch a good high school football game on this rainy Friday night.
Absolutely. It is football weather. It's cold. It's rainy. This is built for, I think, a Clinton-Massie offense. It's a ground and pound sort of night. I don't know how much they're planning on airing it out, but I think those plans got put to the back burner this evening with the conditions that we have in front of us. It's going to be about 47 degrees at your game time temperature with the rain coming down pretty steady at this point here at Frank Irelan Field. So getting excited for a great matchup tonight. The 4-5 Wilmington Hurricane are going to take on the 8-1 Massie Falcons, and this is truly one of those events similar to the Ohio State and Michigan game, similar to the Reds and the Dodgers. You're going to put all the game totals aside. The stats are going to be noted, but they're not going to be important. Their records are not important. It comes to good old-fashioned, rivalry, neighborhood rivalry. So, what do you think about that, EJ?
Well, and that's exactly what it is. When you look at Wilmington's schedule, they're 4-5. All 4 wins are against losing records, and all their wins are against, losing records, but they've lost to teams with a winning record. But on a night like tonight, as you mentioned a few weeks ago, these guys know each other. Some of them went to elementary school together. They're Clinton County rivals. They see each other out at restaurants. So definitely going to be a great game. You can throw Wilmington's record out the window. They don't really like each other on the football field, so it's going to be a fun one tonight.
Absolutely. And just to mention a quick story about that. So after the East Clinton game, my wife, my family, and I were at Frisch's here in Wilmington, or up the street in Wilmington, and we were able to have about 10 or 12 of the Clinton-Massie football players close to us, and I wanted to say bye to them as we're leaving. I go over there, wouldn't you know who's sitting with them but Brady Evans, the starting quarterback for the Wilmington Hurricane. So I think I do agree with you. The rivalry is well known. It's long term, but in the end, these guys know each other. Some of them are friends. Unfortunately, some of them just plain don't like each other.
Yeah, and a lot of them, like you said, some of them know each other and they go back. They're friends, but when you get on the football field, they're going to lay it all out tonight. Wilmington's going to lay it all out. Massie's going to lay it all out tonight. It's going to be a fun game. It's rainy. It'll probably affect the stands a little bit, but it's going to be fun for those that are in attendance tonight.
Absolutely. If you decide to make it out here for our 7 o'clock kickoff, it's going to be a fun game to watch. I'm sure the tensions are going to be high. There's going to be, I'd say chippiness might be a term that's going to be used at some point, I think, in this broadcast, that things are getting a little chippy out there, but I'm sure the refs will keep it under control, and I know the expectation of the Massie coaches is to take that emotion. We've talked to them through the week. They're expecting a lot of emotion and to tame it and to focus and to get it moving forward towards this potential playoff run. As we talk about that, unfortunately, Wilmington's going to come up a little short in their playoff hopes. I know that after talking to Scott Killen at the beginning of the year, there's many goals that I'm sure he set for a team. 2 that he mentioned to me specifically were that he wanted to make the playoffs. And, of course, because of my interest in it, he wanted to beat Massie. So, unfortunately, he's going to miss one of those goals, and that's to make the playoffs this year. I think early on they kind of felt the injury bug hit him, and Brady coming back from that ACL injury from last year. Brady's a fantastic athlete. His stats show that he's having a good year, but maybe things didn't start off the way they wanted to against some non-conference opponents. So really put him behind the 8 ball going into the conference schedule, and the conference schedule, as you mentioned, hasn't been too kind to him so far.
Yeah, and that's it. But like you said, we can throw the records out and just see what happens here tonight. They're going to lay it on the line. Talk about injury, you think about Massie, everybody's getting healthy. Beam was out earlier in the year. Dalton Wolf was out earlier in the year. Brendan Lamb was out 3 games. He got to come back last week, made a big impact. And so health is a big issue, but it seemed like everybody on Massie's side of the ball is getting healthy, and which is good because they're expecting a big playoff run coming up here. And so it's just going to be one of those that hopefully everybody's healthy on a rainy night like tonight, so you can see just both teams give it everything they've got, leave it out on this field.
Yeah, no question, no matter how it ends tonight, whatever the score is, both teams want to come out healthy, not only for Wilmington to end the night in the year on a good note, but also going into basketball season. Just like football, basketball is very important at the Wilmington Hurricane High School. Also, at Clinton-Massie, making that playoff run is expected at this point. The numbers kind of get thrown around a little bit, 16, 17, I've heard even 18 years in a row. For what I remember, Brent Schurz, who's one of my co-hosts here a couple weeks ago, said that 2002 was the first playoff team, and then they've taken it every year since then. So it's an expectation here at Clinton-Massie to go to the playoffs, and now it's not only an expectation to go to the playoffs, but they're expected to go deep. So coming out of this game, I think with a win, no question is important for their seat in the Harbin rankings for Region 16 and Division 4, but also it's going to be important to start that playoff run with as many healthy bodies as possible.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Looked at some of the ratings today. Saw, teams they beat earlier in the year that Massie beat, Fenwick, Bishop Hartley, have already moved way up in the rankings. They're going to the playoffs. So Massie's had a tried and true schedule to get them ready for the playoffs coming up here. One thing that I'm taking from last week's game is they're going to have to clean up penalties. You mentioned Chippy. You can't be running your mouth tonight. You can't be going saying comments to the refs. You got to play discipline, and they need to get in that routine starting tonight. Be disciplined, no offsides. Don't have a 3rd and 57 like you did last week. You had a 3rd and 57 with the ball on the other team's 4-yard line. Clean that up. Get ready for this playoff environment that's going to be coming pretty soon.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I've heard through multiple people and multiple media outlets that penalties was definitely the thing that stuck out at the game last week. I think the score was not indicative exactly of how it went out on the field. New Richmond's a fine football team, and Anderson is a fantastic athlete. They have him at quarterback and then move him to running back and forth, and he's phenomenal. He's been that way since his sophomore year. But I think Massie did control the game for the most part, rather than putting the ball on the ground a couple times, other than the penalties. It was a dominating performance at times by Clinton-Massie, but because of those penalties and because of those fumbles, it did cause it to be a lot closer on the scoreboard than it should have been.
Yeah, and you alluded to it earlier, how it's going to be, these teams might be jawing a little bit tonight at each other, and that's going to be a good test for Massie. Stay disciplined. You don't have to jaw with the other team. I know that's all part of it on Friday night, but stay disciplined. And they would, move the ball last week against New Richmond, but they'd shoot themselves in the foot with the penalty, and they'd get marching. And so it's time to clean that up tonight and just play some good Clinton-Massie disciplined, hard-nosed football.
And those of you that will watch our broadcast and video, you'll see on the field just left was the honorary captains for Little Heart Big Smiles. So Little Heart Big Smiles is an organization that actually is based here in Southwest Ohio, specifically in the Clinton County area. I just want to touch base about that real quick. We have some people that are a part of Clinton-Massie that are a big part of Little Hearts Big Smiles. So Little Hearts Big Smiles was created in 2006 as a supportive outlet for families raising special needs children. The group felt that it was important to establish a group of families who could come together and learn from one another, help one another cope, and also raise awareness. That group services the entire family, providing educational opportunities for parents and planning fun activities for kids. In 2008, they partnered with Clinton County Foundation to become a not-for-profit organization. As the needs of our founding members changed, we realized the need for accessible play space in Southwest Ohio, so volunteers came together tirelessly and started to build and raise funds for some of those playgrounds here in Clinton County. So it's an awesome group. It's an awesome organization. Specifically, some people around here that are Clinton-Massie residents are a part of it. So if you have more interest in finding out about that, and we do suggest that you go there, it's www.littleheartsbigsmiles.org. Fantastic group. We ask you to support them whenever possible. So we saw their honorary captains, and that's a tradition with the Wilmington game. We had it last year at Wilmington, and I'm glad they're continuing that tradition. Also, those watching the broadcast will see coming across that rainy and soaked field is the Clinton-Massie band here in just a second. So as they're warming up, let's talk a little bit about keys to the game. EJ, if you have some thoughts on the keys to the game today.
Yeah, and anybody that's watched Wilmington at all realize you are looking at a totally different animal than Clinton-Massie. You're looking at a team that's going to put out 3, 4, sometimes 5 wide receiver sets. You're going to have Brady Evans in the shotgun, and you talk about a guy that can whip it around, and he's got, some weapons out there. And I think the key to Massie, if you look at their stats, looked at some of those this week, they have double-digit interceptions. So for Massie, no doubt, it's got to stop the pass, stop the spread, which they're pretty effective at doing. They've gotten so much better throughout the season at stopping the pass. But I'm going to project Massie's going to get a pick or two in this game and pick off Brady, but they're going to have to play some great passing defense to stop Wilmington. Wilmington can score points. As you've seen the last few weeks and saw them against Batavia, they hung up 50. They've hung up 50 a couple times this year. So that defense has got to lock in, play disciplined defense, get some Big Thomas Meyer there, get some pressure on that quarterback tonight.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what the pressure looks like. So I think there's times that Brady Evans, if given the opportunity to just sit back in the pocket, can pick defenses apart. And by the scores and by the passing numbers, looking at his total passing yards of 2,152 for the year, which, he's 168 for 275. So he's got a 60% completion rate, 25 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And if you throw the ball that much and you have 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions is not gaudy. I mean, that's not a terrible number. With rushing, though, that's maybe where you said there might be some struggles, because at this point their leading rusher has 560 yards. That's number 22, Mayer, on 106 carries with 7 touchdowns. So if Massie can shut down the rush, which we believe they'll be able to do, then the next step for them is to start airing it out, and that might put some concern and some stress on the backfield of Clinton-Massie. Yeah,
and Massie's come a long way throughout the season as far as stopping the pass with 11 interceptions, I believe. And so I think they're gonna be ready for this. I think at this point in the season, they've seen the spread a few times already, and I believe that they'll be ready for it tonight. And that secondary, who's played very well, probably going to get a couple picks, hopefully.
Right. So keys to the game, you said, EJ, first and foremost, they need to stop the run and make them a one-dimensional team. Get some pressure on Brady Evans. Anything you can think of for the Massie team to make sure that this is a successful night?
2 things. Number 1, clean up penalties. Last week wasn't a good week as far as penalties go. And so clean that up tonight. Get that, get ready, get disciplined, get ready for what's going to come in the next few weeks in the playoffs. Number 2, do what you always do. Establish the run game. They had Brendan Lamb healthy, came back last week. One statistic said 170 yards, 3 touchdowns. One said over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Needless to say, he had a lot of yards rushing and helped the offense getting healthy. He's healthy this week. So you establish the run. You get that line blocking like they can block. And I believe you're going to see Massie probably throw 200 to 300 yards rushing between all of their backs. Fredericks, such a gritty runner that's just played so well this year as well. Mm-hmm. And Jake Vaughn. So they got a great group, a stable of backs, and so I believe you're going to see probably 200 to 300 plus yards rushing for Massie.
So numerous sideline stories here, things that are going to be outside of the regular gameplay, but Jake Vaughn is one of those. So some of our listeners may be aware that Jake Vaughn is a former Wilmington Hurricane. In fact, all the way through his 11th grade year went there, and then decided to transfer over here to Massie. Has a lot of friends over here at Massie. I actually got to speak to him prior to his transfer, and he just told me kind of the reasons why. It felt like there was an opportunity here to not only be close to those friends that he had kind of grown up with here in the Massie area, but then maybe see some success on the field and on the court later on in the basketball season. He's also a phenomenal baseball player, which he'll have to sit out the half of the season for the baseball because he already played baseball at Wilmington last year. He did not play football and he did not play basketball for Wilmington last year, so that's allowed him to play this entire season, and it will allow him to play the entire season in basketball. So a lot of exciting, a lot of nerves, a lot of emotion probably for him. Some of it is just probably in his own mind justify his move over here and the reason why he came, and then also to have some fun with his former teammates. He was on the field with a lot of these guys, whether it's the soccer field at one point when he was younger, the football field here in the recent past, and then the basketball court as well. So he's excited. That's one little sideline story that you'll be able to note throughout the rest of the broadcast. Also, it was senior night tonight for Clinton-Massie, so Clinton-Massie celebrated numerous seniors both on the football field and on the cheerleading sidelines, so we'll note those later on in the broadcast. We also had a Boy Scouts and band bake sale benefiting the Parsons family. So if I could just take a moment and share with you, for those of you that weren't here a few weeks ago and the listeners that maybe not privy to this information, we did lose a Clinton-Massie family, Falcon family member. We unfortunately lost him here in the stands a few Friday nights ago, and that was Jamie Parsons. And Mr. Parsons was very well loved and very well admired in this community because of his work with the Boy Scouts and his leadership in the Boy Scouts. So he did a great job there. Yeah, one of his sons is also part of the band. So we miss him. We've been able to talk to his wife and the rest of his family, and we know that there's a lot of loss there, but they are very appreciative of that community feel that they've had, and definitely have felt the thrust of emotion from the community and any help that can be offered to them. So we want to thank the community for doing that. Also want to send a special shout out to Goshen. Goshen was our opponent that night, and they were wonderful. They were wonderful in every aspect of the game. They understood us canceling the rest of that contest and coming back the next day. And then when they came back, they were a part of the giving to that family as well. Really reached out and helped out with the giving, and I just commend them, their superintendent, Daryl Edwards, and the whole athletic director and coaching staff. So wonderful job. They also had a band and Boy Scouts bake sale earlier benefiting the Parsons family. There's going to be a check presentation to both schools from Mercantile Bank, and we're going to take just a moment and pause for the national anthem. All right, we thank you for pausing with us to celebrate America for just a second. Excellent job by the Clinton-Massie Band. Just to continue, we're going to have a couple other items here during this broadcast. It's interesting check presentations to the Clinton-Massie Band from Caesars Creek Flea Market and your community store, and then also from the Merchants National Bank. Something interesting I know that you had in your media packet there about Mr. Mudd. So there's going to be a Mud Up at the ticket booth. So basically you can take your ticket price and extend that a little bit. You can kind of round that up, and that extra money that you donate is going to go towards Brian Mudd and his brain cancer fight, which he is fighting valiantly. But also, I think you had mentioned something, EJ, earlier about an event that's coming up here really soon that's also a relation to Strong as Mud.
Oh, okay. Strong as Mud, mudslinging event.
Mm-hmm.
And the proceeds will go to the Mudd family.
Right.
And that's going to be at Snow Hill Country Club Friday, November 9th from 7 to 10. So all the proceeds there will go to the Mudd family. Brian Mudd, great guy, remaining strong. His faith is strong. We're all rooting for him. Like you mentioned earlier with a couple setbacks that Massey's had and the tragedy, one thing you love about this community is how they rally and they reach out and they just, rally around each other. If you're a part of this community at all or been a part for even a little time, you realize this is a real community that's going to get each other's back. I love it. Love being a part of it. So this mudslinging event will be Friday, November 9th, 7 to 10. 9 o'clock, there'll be a silent auction with winners announced immediately following. Before that, there'll be guest speakers at 8 o'clock and a social hour at 7 o'clock. So 7 to 10, Friday, November 9th. If you can come out and help out Mr. Brian Mudd, come out and be a part of that.
Yeah, excellent event, and we're excited about that coming up, and Brian's done a great job. Recently been stepping out into the communities. He did speak to the Wilmington football players just here a few weeks ago, Bellbook football players, the football players from Massie. He's been speaking out in different engagements and really showing and kind of providing a message for them of hope. And I'll steal his catchphrase, just like we're going to change the channel.
Change the channel.
Change the channel. When something's not going right, it's time to change the channel. And we'll see if Massie or Wilmington might be saying that later on during this game. If things aren't going too well, it might be time for them to change the channel. So also, we do have a Kiwanis Club presentation after the game. So each year this is considered the Backyard Bash. And the Backyard Bash is kind of notated by a trophy that goes back and forth between the two teams. At this point, Clinton-Massie's been able to hold on to it for quite a few years so far. So, hopefully for the Massie fans that continues. For the Hurricane fans, maybe this is the first year that they'll be able to snag that and take it back to them. And that's brought to us in part by the Kiwanis Club. So looking forward to that.
All right, yes. And just come out and be a part of any of these events. Going to be a good time and supporting great causes. And that's what the community, that's what the school's all about. It's just getting behind these causes, getting behind these, and just supporting everybody and everybody just remaining strong. I will allude to what Brian Mudd said. He sent me a little clip of that, change the channel, and I'll have to be honest, I use that as motivation with my family and my kids in my church. Change the channel.
Time to change the channel.
He might want to copyright that because that's good.
Yeah, I told him we need to make T-shirts.
Change the channel. When your mind goes in that bad place, just change the channel. So good. So good to see him fighting and encouraging others through his fight and just keeping everybody else strong around him. Just proud to call him a friend.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what channel the Clinton-Massie Falcons have been on. So they're coming into the Harbin rankings right now. Into this game, placed at number 2. Just a note for those of you interested in Region 14, Wyoming High School out of Cincinnati is number 1. Clinton-Massie's at number 2. Indian Hill number 3. Waverly High School to our east is number 4. London, which has had a long history with Massie, maybe not even the nicest history with Massie, but London High School is up in, a little northwest of us, and they're in at, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Taft High School, which has kind of been a perennial powerhouse here over the last few years in the playoff runs, is now underneath London. And then you're going to have a battle at the bottom. So Shawnee and Batavia are rounding out 7 and 8. What's interesting here is that if Shawnee beats Jonathan Alder, they're in. If Jonathan Alder beats Shawnee, they're in. And that's probably who's going to be the first opponent that Massie faces. So they're going to be looking at that game. In fact, we're hoping that we can get some updates later on this evening and see how that game's going on. Somebody that Massie is familiar with, both Shawnee and Jonathan Alder. They've played Shawnee in the regular season last, I believe, 3 3 years in a row prior to this year. And then Jonathan Alder and Massie have had some knockdown, drag out. I'm talking some the old slobber knocker term can be used, games over the years, especially here at Frank Ireland Field. So I think it's going to be exciting as our game progresses to find out what's going on with Shawnee and Jonathan Alder, and they'll be able to pretty much lock in the first round opponent if Massie can take care of Wilmington tonight. So what channel have they been on? I think they've been on the rushing channel. That rushing channel is something that they've done for years now under Coach Dan McSorley's tenure, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. And the leading rusher this year is Brendan Lamb. So even with only 6 games underneath his belt, his attempts are at 125, his yards are at 898. He's averaging 7.2 yards, has 14 touchdowns with a long of 51. So he's going to bring you about 150 to 200 yards on average on the ground every single game. So what's Wilmington have to do to make Massie at least not have their bell cow take control of this game?
Well, I think most people know when you're going to face Massie, you load the box and you stop the run. And most teams that have any success at all against that are going to load the box up and going to let them pass if they decide to pass, which they usually don't. And they're just going to load that box up and stop the run. That's going to be their goal. It's so hard, though, because even if you can stop it for a half, for a quarter, for a half, Massie usually wears you down. And so they're going to have to be in good shape third and fourth quarter if they're going to stop the run at all, be able to just stay in shape and try to stop them by that third and fourth quarter.
It's interesting. The following 5 people after Brendan Lamb have 517, 506, 460, 396, and 216 yards rushing. So if you were to take Brendan Lamb out of the picture and remove his, 900 yards or so, you're still left with about 2,600 yards total between all the rest of the rushers. For any team, they would be happy just to have that, but Massie has 3,380 yards rushing on 445 attempts. So not only are they averaging 7.6 yards a rush, but they're averaging 375 yards per game in that rush. So they're a ground and pound team. They're excited about coming out here and imposing their will onto their opponents, and tonight's going to be no different. They're going to want to come out and smash Wilmington in the mouth as quick as they possibly can.
Yeah, and you'd think in a rainy night like tonight, the rain is just steadily coming down here, that it would be to the advantage of the Massie Falcons. It's going to make it a little bit difficult on that passing offense of Wilmington, but the rain's coming down. That should help Massie. A little bit slick on the field, but not enough that it's going to slow them down too much. And so this advantage definitely goes to Clinton-Massie on the weather tonight.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Massie in the air. So they're going to not attempt to pass maybe all game, especially in the weather. It wouldn't surprise me if they go the entire game without a pass attempt. They have had a little more success this year, especially towards Jake Vaughn. Jake Vaughn's done a great job coming in as a dual threat back. So not only can he rush, he has 96 yards rushing with a 6.4 average, but he also is a receiver as well. He has 5 receptions for 93 yards, 37 yards being his long. So he's averaging 11 yards per catch. Great hands, especially that seam pass up the middle, something that kind of wait and bait you on over and over and over again, then pop it over the head of the safety if he bites up too much in the box, and then all of a sudden Jake's off to the races. Also out of the receiving core, you have Griffin Lackey. Griffin Lackey's a two-way player that works both sides of the ball for Massie, a great senior leader. He's got 8 receptions for 117 yards and has 3 touchdowns on top of that. Brendan Lamb, Thomas Myers, Dalton Wolf round up the receiving core there. So as Clinton-Massie makes their way to the end zone, we're going to share with you just a little bit kind of the thoughts and processes here of what we're looking at tonight. I would say that, it's very important to have ball security. If you look at my keys to the game, the number 1 is ball security due to the fumbles last week and the fact that it's a rainy, cold night. If Massie can hold on to the ball, I do think that they're going to be able to impose their will, especially along the line of scrimmage. It'll just be how things work out for them as far as not turning the ball over and then being able to hold back Wilmington's defense. Wilmington, on the other hand, they have to go for the big plays. To me, they've got to go over the top. They got to go something exciting, something that's going to, bring the Wilmington side to their feet to keep the emotion going. Because if they get down early, especially over the next couple minutes here in this first quarter or maybe during the first quarter, I would be concerned if they're going to be able to come back from that.
Yeah, and I think even a few weeks ago you saw the Massie passing defense struggle a bit, but you've noticed how it's tightened up. Like I said earlier, double-digit interceptions for that defense, and I just anticipate their defense playing a lot better than it even did early in the season against the pass. So I'm anticipating a great passing defense out of the Falcons tonight.
Yeah, so Clinton-Massie over the last few years versus Wilmington has gotten into this habit of their purge entrance, basically. So it's something that they like to do. I think at one point the thought of intimidation was there, but I think at this point it's just to have a little bit of fun.
Sure.
So as the game gets ready to start, we're going to get the teams lined up here with 3 minutes left before halftime. The Clinton-Massie band is going to take their place on the sidelines as well as the cheerleaders. It's going to be a cold night to be a cheerleader tonight, I tell you. They don't get paid anything, so they don't get paid enough, that's for sure. The Massey cheerleaders on this side, Wilmington on the other side. A long history rivalry that we're going to see kick off here in just a second. We're excited about that. For those of you just joining us, it is a 7 o'clock kickoff for the Friday night Backyard Bash, 7 p.m. tonight. So we're going to get started here in just a second. This is Clinton-Massie Falcons at 8-1 facing the Wilmington Hurricane at 4-5. Should be a great football game. This is one of those rivalry games that no matter what the score has been in the past, and it doesn't matter what the records are, these guys are going to go at each other tooth and nail. Last year's score, not indicative of probably what Wilmington brought to the table as far as effort. If I remember correctly, it was 45-0. Brady Evans kind of, aired out a few things, but unfortunately was bottled up probably most of the night, especially deep in his own end zone or deep towards his own end zone. So had a little trouble creating offense last year with a very good Clinton-Massie defense. The 2 years before that, though, were actually within 1 and 2 points respectively. So, there's no doubt that if Wilmington brings their A game, they have absolutely the possibility to make this a game that's going to come all the way down to the last minute and to the last wire.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be good. We're getting ready for kickoff. It's exciting. These teams, like I said, they're big rivals. It's getting ready to get real fun right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here.
Kicking off for Clinton-Massie, lined up is number 32, Grant Avey. Grant Avey's had the kicking duties all year. He's going to kick off from the 40-yard line. It's going to be a low line drive kick that hits Wilmington Hurricane right in the chest. And the ball's already on the ground. Actually, the ball's on the ground, and it looks like Clinton-Massie is the refs are trying to pull people apart here, and we're not sure who's coming up with the ball. Clinton-Massie has not. There's been no signal yet of who has the ball. I believe they're going to call him down, if I'm correct. The ball's coming back. Yeah, they're going to call him down. He's down on the ground. So at this point, elbow was down. The refs are calling. So we're going to get this game started here with Clinton-Massie on defense and Wilmington on offense. We're going to try to get you the numbers of the starters as soon as possible. Number 22 is Garrett Trampler. Number 68 is Braxton Green. Number 9 is Thomas Myers. Number 51 is Spencer Branham. Number 43 is Clayton Shealy. Number 11 is Tate Oberding. Number 87 is Griffin Lackey. Number 8 is Bryce Seaman. Number 45 is Brock Speaks. On the far side is number 1, Corey May. So that's your Clinton-Massie defense right now. Set to take on the Wilmington offense. Brady Evans rolls to his left. He's going to open up right away with a long pass. The ball is going to be called incomplete because it hits the ground. Nice pass, nice rollout immediately by Brady Evans. Looks like he's already on the run.
Yeah, rolling out, and maybe that was planned to do tonight. It's hard passes to make, but you see him making those passes, and you see him and the Massey defense getting on him there. But you got to be real accurate when you're running, throwing on the run like that. Yeah,
it was actually a pretty decent pass. He threw to the outside of the receiver, just a little bit low, and good effort by the Wilmington Hurricane receiver there. So he's going to make a quick drop, quick throw out to number 15 for Wilmington, and that's Ryan Camp, who's a senior wide receiver at 5'10", 165. Maybe a little miscommunication there. He got rid of the ball quick, and Camp decided to just keep running.
Well, he had to. That Massey pass rush was just coming at him hard and heavy there. So he had to make a quick release and just looked like they weren't on the same page.
Yeah, Wilmington Hurricane's going to call their plays in from the sideline using a signal-based process there. So number 5, Brady Evans, is in the shotgun, almost a pistol look, but he's back about 5 yards from the snap. Looks like a screen set up. The screen comes to number 4. For Wilmington, that's Cam Coomer, a 11th grader wide receiver at 6'2", 160. I've seen Cam Coomer since he was in kindergarten, literally. I was able to coach that young man in basketball, and I could tell right then, even as a kindergartner, he had a lot of athletic ability. In fact, he was the only kid that basically could dribble the ball at that age. So did an excellent job. Wilmington Hurricanes going to set up again. Brady Evans in the shotgun with one receiver back, one running back beside him, and he's going to be stopped for about a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, real good play before this one, setting it up, hitting Cam. And you're going to notice that Coomer is their bell cow. If there's such thing as a bell cow wide receiver, it's him. 1,000-yard receiver already through 9 games, so this kid can make some plays.
Yeah, Cam's an excellent athlete, great hands on the football field and the basketball court. So they're definitely going to be he's going to be somebody to watch the entire game. He's on the inside slot, and he looks like he's coming across the field. Fakes a jet sweep. Brady Evans goes in with a run. He's going to be brought down immediately by Bryce Seaman. He's actually going to probably lose about a yard there. He's going to come behind the line of scrimmage by about a yard, which is going to give them 3rd down and 9. Braxton Green drops off the field. Looks like they're going to bring in a different pass rush here. Brock Speaks calling out the defense for Clinton-Massie. Nathan Algar comes in as your extra defensive back, so it looks like a nickel package here for Clinton-Massie. Looks like it's not necessarily a hurry-up offense. It's just a signal from the sideline, and Brady Evans is going to check once again. He's going to get the snap about 6 yards deep. He rushes out of the pocket. He's going to be brought down. He tries to throw it, and it's going to go out of bounds. Just as he's going down, he did get rid of the ball, though.
Looked like he was down, but they're going to say that he got rid of it. There you see the great pass rush, an even better pass rush defense than early in the season. You see Big Thomas coming in there, and you see this big line, big, strong, fast line getting in there. Getting the pressure. Yeah,
Tyler Beam, you had mentioned the emotional leader clearly on defense. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to see him tonight. He is suited up, but after talking with him this week, they're going to probably try to rest that shoulder unless absolutely necessary. So the punt snap goes back. The punter for Wilmington is number 10, Rory Bell, an 11th grader at 5'10", 155, and that's not even going to be returned by Clinton-Massie. They're going to set up, looks like on the Clinton-Massie 38-yard line. So not a tremendously good punt there from Wilmington.
No, just over 60 yards to go here for a score. So real good field position to start for the Falcons, and you're going to see probably a steady dose of the run game.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair assessment. Anybody that wants to make a bet that they're going to have about 50 rushing attempts this game, it's a pretty safe bet. I'll take the over-under, and I'll go with the over. So right now it looks like Jake Vaughn's in motion. They're going to give it to Robbie Frederick, who breaks out of the backfield immediately. First play from scrimmage. He's able to outrun the Wilmington defense, and he is going to score from the first play of scrimmage. Clinton-Massie scores on what looked like just a simple dive left.
Yes, and that's Robbie all year long. When you need a big play, when you need him to step up, man, he makes a one cut. And I'm telling you, he's quick, and you see the speed there. Great run by Robbie Fredericks.
Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. So after Clinton-Massie is able to stop Brady Evans and the offense of Wilmington with just one first down, they made him punt on the second series there. He comes out of the gates, and I mean, he came out of there shot out of a cannon immediately. Once he broke that linebacker level, it looks like they had mentioned exactly what you had said earlier, and that is that they brought everybody down in the box. Once he got past the linebackers, honestly, there was just nobody left to beat.
Well, that's your disadvantage if you bring everybody up. You get through that second line of defense and you're gone. And Robbie took advantage of it.
Grant Avey on the kick. Point after is good. So after looks like 1 minute and 55 seconds, we're able to bring this to a 7-0 lead for Clinton-Massie. So excitement right off the beginning for Clinton-Massie. Robbie Frederick with what you had mentioned, maybe about a 62-yard run or so from scrimmage, first play of the game. You know, you have to feel for Wilmington a little bit. That's exactly probably what they didn't want to happen, whether it was stopped on offense immediately or from the first play of scrimmage, all of a sudden you got to score.
Yeah, they don't want that. Start the game this way on a night like this. They'll be resilient. They're going to fight back here, no doubt about it, and try to claw back into this with throwing this ball around. But what a play by Robbie. Just tough, gritty. And I'll mention this. One of the keys of the game for Massie is keeping everybody healthy for the playoff run.
Yes.
It's, Tyler may not play a lot. Hey, if these guys get up for a few scores, they may think of resting everybody, getting them ready for Week 11.
Absolutely, yeah. Health is definitely going to be important for Clinton-Massie trying to prepare for Week 11. And I'm sure Wilmington's going to get there real soon and be ready for a Week 11 run here before too long. Cam Coomer's going to take the ball, and actually it's bobbled around. He's going to be all the way back at the 5-yard line. He's going to be brought down by Bryce Seaman. and that's going to be about a 7-yard return. So at first he bobbled the ball just a little bit. When he went to turn around and grab it, it bounced yet again, so he was able to pick it up around the 4-yard line and bring it out to about the 14-yard line. So again, about a 7 or 8-yard return there for the Wilmington Hurricane. So you can see Coach Killam's taking the offense immediately back to the sideline and just kind of probably calming them down just a little bit, telling them, hey, guys, we're going to be fine. A lot of game left. It's only about 2.5 minutes into the first quarter, so let's go out and basically do what we do. Clinton-Massie lines up on defense, already seeing some pass rush immediately from that first series, as EJ said. So they're going to bring in a second back for Brady for protection purposes. Brady gets a snap, immediately goes to the running back, and he's met about 5 yards. Well, actually, he's probably only going to get about 2 out of that. Met into the middle of the defensive line by Brock Speaks and Braxton Green.
And that's what you want to do for Wilmington is slow the game down. It started too fast for them. Massey come out, struck early. Now you want to slow it down, get some first downs, just try to kill the momentum of the Falcons here.
What's interesting is Brady Evans runs to the left. He airs it out wide open on the left-hand side, and they're going to bring that ball in. So it's going to be about a 12-yard gain from scrimmage there. A great pass, a great catch in this rainy weather. That's an excellent job bringing that ball in. Wasn't able to have any yards after catch, but definitely brought that in, starting a first down and a new set of downs there for the Wilmington Hurricane. They're in a slot right with two running backs to the right. Brady Evans is immediately going to roll out. He's going to overthrow Cam Coomer by about 2 or 3 yards there. Cam Coomer did have a space, or at least a step on Corey May, although May's coverage was pretty good there.
Yeah, you see the arm strength of Brady there. You saw it the play before as he throws across the field, and he's going to do that. And they're going to take some chances. They're a home run team. You know, you don't throw for 300 and 400 yards in different games and not be able to hit some home run balls. And so that's going to be the goal is to connect on some of these long balls tonight.
Anybody that's from this Clinton-Massie and Wilmington area has watched this young man, Brady Evans, since he was in kindergarten, first grade, third grade, and the kid has always been able to throw. I mean, he's impressed me at times with the strength of his arm. He's going to air it out here, and the ball is dropped by his crossing receiver, which I believe was number 30. Number 30 for Wilmington Hurricane, which is there's not a 30, so I'm going to go with Dom Davidson, I believe. We're going to give old Dom credit for being in the right place at the right time. Wasn't able to bring that in. So Clinton-Massie is going to force a third down here. It is a 3rd and long, so 3rd and 10 from the Wilmington 25, almost the 26. Trips right. Brady rolls that way. Immediately sees Cam open, but he's going to overthrow Cam, and it's going to be picked by Dalton Wolf. And they are going to call that an interception. So Dalton Wolf steps right in front of that pass, picks it off as he's going to the sideline. And, you know, we did mention before that for 25 touchdowns, 10 picks is not all that bad. Probably not what you want to do in the first quarter, already down by 7. They had already set a new, put a new set of downs by getting a first down, and all of a sudden now they're going to turn the ball over and give it to on the Wilmington 35-yard line.
Yeah, you see him rolling out, hard pass to make. He almost made it, but Dalton, with great instincts, just steps up in front of it and makes a great play. So
double slot for the Clinton-Massie Falcons. They try to give the ball to Frederick, maybe bust another one, but he stopped with barely any gain, maybe 1 yard at most. It looks like they have Brendan Lamb in the backfield, along with Jake Vaughn, along with Robbie Frederick, who already has a 62-yard touchdown run from the first play of scrimmage. Up front, you got Matt Phillips at center. Looks like Seth Stiverson is your left guard. You're also going to have Davis Wolf, Seth Schmidt, and Spencer Voss in the backfield, or in the offensive line as well. Corey Stoltz gets the ball. He's able to fake, and he is going to score. Honestly, that looked a little bit too easy. I mean, it was a counter option. Brendan Lamb went into motion.
Great block.
Then he immediately started back, made a block to set the edge, and then Corey Stoltz decided to keep it himself and take it over to the left. And ladies and gentlemen, with 8:21 left in the first quarter, we now have what could be a 14-0 ball game.
Yeah, you see as he cuts back there, the downfield blocking was great there. Lamb threw a good block and just hit that open hole. And you've seen the quarterback. Great leadership skills, take it all the way to the house.
Yeah, Corey Stoltz, we have mentioned in our broadcast before, he's not the fastest guy. We're not saying he's got sprinter speed, but I believe he has elusive speed. Grand Navy with the kick that looks like it's going to be up and good as well. So we do have a score of 14-0. Corey Stoltz is just one of those kids that if you were to time him in the 40 or if you were to run alongside of him, you wouldn't think that he's Usain Bolt by any means. But on the field, he is able to just have a quickness and elusiveness that allows him to get outside just like he did on that last run. He faked the dive. He decided to keep it himself, blocked by Lamb, off to the races.
Yeah, he's quick, and he can get to top speed in about 10 yards.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's it. So when he's got quick feet, and, they don't pass the ball a lot being a predominantly run team, but you have to make a lot of wise decisions running that option. Mm-hmm. And he's shown that just great senior leadership skills, went to the state championship with them last year and just got great leadership. And you got to know what you're doing, when to pitch, when to hold on to it. And he just shown some just great intangibles.
Yeah, the thing about Corey Stoltz is has a high football IQ. Mm-hmm. So not only does he have the skills, he has the quickness, but he is a very smart football player. So Grant Avi's going to kick off again. This time it's going to go to the right. It's picked up by one of the upbacks for Wilmington. Number 52 for them is Austin Brummett, which is a senior offensive lineman, 5'10", 185, a big guy. The big guy gets the run. Anytime an offensive lineman gets to run the ball, he's excited. He knows it's 14-0, but for just a moment, he's going to soak that in.
Oh, yeah, you got to love it. Hey,
Absolutely.
If I get to touch the ball on this night. Hey, and he's, matter of fact, the first one that didn't bobble it of the kickoff.
Of the
so the rain
kickoffs,
has wreaked a little bit of havoc, but he's the first one to actually catch it and give them decent field position. They started on their 4-5 last drive, and so, hey, they'll take this field position, try to get some points.
Yeah, I think the main thing that Grant Avi's trying to do is keep the ball low, keep it away maybe from Cam Coomer because he is such a phenomenal athlete, not give him anything quick on the return game. So Clinton-Massie sets up a little different look here. Thomas Myers actually has his hand in the ground. He's able to cut inside. He brings Brady Evans down, and actually with a host of other Falcons, that's going to be about a 2-yard loss. Again, different look for Thomas Myers usually does not put his hand in the ground. He was on the left end this time with his hand in the ground and was able to kind of slice into that offensive line and get Brady Evans about 2 yards deep in the backfield.
Yeah, it looked like they were ready for that run. They gave him a great spot because he didn't lose 2 yards, but gave him a real good spot on that. But Thomas, adjusted well, made the play, and they weren't fooled by that run at all.
Yeah, excellent job. So right now, Massey's defense is going to try to shut this Wilmington Hurricane offense, get their offense back on the field. Blitz by Bryce Simmons on the left side. He's able to bring that person down along with 87, which is Griffin Lackey. Number 22 for that's Grant Meyer. That is their leading rusher. So Grant Meyer, a senior at 5'10", 180 pounds, is able to bring the Hurricane about a 3-yard game. So it's going to be 3rd and 7. 3rd and 7 at this point in the game, you're not too worried about, but as the night goes on and everybody gets tired and colder, 3rd and 7 is going to seem like an eternity. So Meyer again with a handoff. He's going to be bottled up immediately by Spencer Branham. Spencer Branham brings down the ball carrier. Looks like he honestly might not even gotten a yard. So it's going to be 4th down and 6. And it looks like Scott Killen is going to send his punting unit on to try to pin the Massey Falcons deep in their own end zone, in their own territory.
Killen will roll the dice some. He'll go
absolutely.
For it on some on 4th down. He's a riverboat gambler at moments. But one thing you notice about Wilmington, they came out with 3 straight runs. Mm-hmm. You don't get to choose the weather. They realize it's a little bit tougher to pass. And there's a blocked punt.
So a block punt, ladies and gentlemen.
Big Thomas picks it up.
Big Thomas Myers recovers the ball. So in the first, looks like 6.5 minutes of the game, we've had a blocked punt, a 62-yard run, first play from scrimmage. We've had an interception and a touchdown run by our quarterback. So, I mean, this is an interesting first quarter for Clinton-Massie. The Wilmington Hurricane at this point have got to hope that this quarter ends quickly and ends without any more we'll say proverbial bloodshed here. So Clinton-Massie sets up in the traditional wishbone double tight look. Time for a little ground and pound. The ball's going to go to Jake Vaughn. Jake Vaughn's able to get just a couple yards, and he does stretch forward to make it a positive gain. I'm sure there's a ton of emotion going through Jake Vaughn right now just to get that first carry out of the way and kind of calm those butterflies.
Yeah, and you see just the plethora of backs here. You haven't even got to their offensive leader, number 23, Lamb, but you see how explosive every player can be. Jake gets about 3 yards there on the first carry.
So coming back in a double slot look with one receiver to the left, that's Devin Noble. Looks like Jake Vaughn's going to go into motion, and Robbie Frederick's going to be met in the backfield by numerous Wilmington Hurricane. That led on defense by number 8. That's Chris Custis, a 11th grader who plays defensive end. He's 6'3", 180 pounds. Great play by Wilmington that time to drop Frederick deep in their backfield. Killen's barking orders from the sideline. He's a very animated character. He's a defensive-oriented guy, so this is very important for him to stop Clinton-Massie on a 3rd and 9, it looks like.
Yeah, they need some momentum defensively, and they've had a couple good stops this drive. And, yeah, you need some momentum to kind of swing your way here.
So Brendan Land dots the I with Robbie Frederick behind him, tight end to the left, and a receiver in double slot to the right. They're going to pass the ball, and that ball is going to go to it's attempted to go to Griffin Lackey, and Jake Vaughn were actually in kind of a similar area. So right now it's going to be 4th down and still 9 with that incomplete pass. So at this point, they're going to run a play, and Clinton-Massie's not going to try to make a long field goal and definitely not going to punt from here. So they're going to hope to break one open and get a first down here and keep the chains moving.
Yeah, you're in no man's land. You might as well go for it, being on the 25. It's hard to kick in this weather, so just go for it. See if you can't convert on 4th and long here.
Yeah, if you kick a 42-yard field goal in the cold rain, that's respect right there. So Jake Vaughn goes into motion. We are going to go back to pass. Wide open is Brendan Lamb. He's able to catch the ball, make a one move, and he's going to score for the Clinton-Massie Falcons. I don't think they expected Brendan Lamb to be out there all by himself. So all the motion went to the left. Instead of blocking, he was able to just touch for a second and then go out into the route. Brendan Lamb brings the ball in, kind of a rainbow-style pass, but he stopped, waited for it, was able to make one move to the right, kind of a jump cut, scores. All of a sudden, it's 20-0.
Hey, what a big play. And, you know, you talk about Brady being a great passer, but, you know, when Corey needs to pass, man, what a great ball. Brendan stopped, made the play on it, and here we go. We're could be up 21-0 here in a moment.
Yeah, excellent job. So 4:58 left in the first quarter. Grant Avey sets up for another point-after attempt. This PAT is hopefully going to finish like the rest of them. It's up, and it's good. And I tell you what, the leg he's had on those afterwards, it looks like he might have been able to make that at least 30-yarder in the rain.
Oh, yeah, he's been great this year, consistent. I believe 2 for 2 even on field goals. So it's good to have a great kicking game going into the playoffs when a point or 2 points or 3 points is going to be huge in some of these games. You want a good kicking game.
Yeah, with 4:58 in the first quarter left, it is 21-0 Clinton-Massie Falcons. You know, unfortunately for the Wilmington Hurricane, this is exactly what they didn't want to happen. You've had, you know, almost a turnover on the kickoff. You had an interception early on. You've had a block punt. Honestly, I think if I'm just guessing right now without reviewing the film, Clinton-Massie has run maybe 10 plays of offense.
Yeah.
You know, 10 plays of offense and 3 scores. So Grant Avey's going to tee this ball up again, and you can just tell it on the Clinton-Massie body language right now that they want to finish this in the first quarter. They want to put this thing to bed. This kickoff team is ready to go. Grant Avey's teed the ball up, and he's going to bring the ball on another low line drive kick. This time it goes to Coomer. It goes right through his hands. It's going to end up in the end zone, so that's going to be a touchback, and probably not the worst scenario for Wilmington Hurricane to just come out to the 25-yard line, start, calm everybody down, and get going again.
Yeah, they bobbled the first couple, and so just getting it out there on the 25, maybe getting established some kind of run game if they can, and just see what they can do. Now it's just trying to make little strides at a time and just seeing if you can kind of go at this big score and kind of tackle this, you know, play by play.
While we're waiting for Wilmington to set up, I've got to give some, you know, just appreciation to these cheerleaders. I mean, it's cold, it's rainy. You know, they're not getting anything but school spirit out of this. They're not doing this for the money. They're not doing it for the prestige. So Brady Evans is going to set up in a shotgun snap. 2 receivers to his right. Grant Mayer fakes, play action pass. The ball's going to be open wide, and the ball's tipped away almost in the hands of number 8. I believe that was Custis, but knocked down and kind of as a part of the play was Dalton Wolf and Tate Oberding. So great job by the Clinton-Massie defense to bring that ball down. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 from the Wilmington 20-yard line.
Yeah, you just have a jump ball scenario there. They all
Yeah.
kind of crowd together, and you got to swat those down. Great defensive play by Massey.
Excellent job by Massey to drop that ball onto the turf. Looks like a little press coverage and a blitz being brought by the Clinton-Massie Falcons. The ball's going to be open. Cam Coomer puts his hands on the ball. Is an excellent pass, but Tate Oberding just basically stuck his hand in there, said, nope, we're going to drop that one to the ground as well.
Yeah, almost a great play there. On a night like this would have been incredible to make that play. But, again, great defense by Tate there, sticking with him play-by-play.
Heard a little something on a NFL broadcast last night that gloves, I mean, there are some catches that are being made that are just unbelievable because of these gloves. They're unbelievable. So it's amazing what you can do sometimes nowadays with this technology that they have with the gloves. So screen pass goes back to Mayer. Clayton Shealy's making the attempt to get the tackle, but it looks like he's going to be able to slide with a first down. Mayer is able to move the chains for Wilmington Hurricanes. So a little screen pass to the left. Brady Evans read it perfectly. He let the defender get close to his body and then did a little jump pass right over him.
Yeah, and on the screen passes, what's essential is downfield blocking. And they had a couple blocks and then makes a couple moves, gets the first down. Great momentum builder for the Hurricanes.
So they switch back from their nickel package to their traditional 4-3 look. Clinton-Massie's in their double safety. Mayer's going to get the ball. He's going to be met in the backfield by Bryce Seaman, number 8. He's going to be dropped for about a yard loss or so. Clinton-Massie, usually pretty good against the run, so they're going to keep probably banging ahead to make sure that people know that Wilmington's not abandoning the run, but you're just waiting for a little play action and for Brady to air one out.
Yeah, and you see number 8, Bryce Seaman, making plays. He's already made a big play tonight. That's play number 2. These guys don't want to give up anything to him. This defense, they want to stick it to him and hang the big goose egg on them tonight. So Massey defense hanging strong in this game.
So slot to the right, receiver to the left. Brady Evans rolls out, and to the right, he's going to throw Coomer's back there. Coomer's able to bring that ball in, so that's going to be a catch. It's going to be right on the first down line, but they are going to move the chains. So excellent catch by Cam Coomer there. Great job, great athlete. Brady put it high, so only his defender could get it. Massey recognized where the ball was going, but just couldn't make the play to get the ball to the turf.
Yeah, good play. They're going to give him the first down on that. And so that's what you got to have. You got to get the momentum. You got to move the chains. Hopefully this is a little momentum builder for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, Coomer to the right of the line here. So slot right with Brady Evans dropping back. He's going to look to make the long pass. The ball's up wide. Corey Mays able to turn around and face the ball, so no pass interference there. He almost came down with that ball, actually. Excellent job by Corey May, who's usually been faced against the number 1 receiver throughout the year so far.
Yeah, and then you see where the wide receiver has to turn around and make a play. It has to act like a defender because it was underthrown just a bit there, so great play there.
Clinton-Massie is going to try to stop this, like you said, momentum-building drive for the Hurricane. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 on the Wilmington 41-yard line. Braxton Green setting up for Clinton-Massie on defense, left defensive end. Spencer Branham in the middle, Clayton Shealy in the middle. And then, again, Thomas Myers down with his hand in the ground. The snap almost goes over Brady Evans' head. Clayton Shealy's able to track down Mayer and forces him back towards Thomas Myers, who makes the tackle about 4 yards deep in the backfield. They'll change out Nathan Algier and bring their nickel package in for 3rd down and what looks like about 14.
Yeah, and you feel for Wilmington on a night like this when they need to run the ball, but they're not used to running the ball passing, and then they get this kind of weather that they probably weren't expecting or looking forward to, and now you see the defensive line of Massey just coming up, laying the stick on them, and now here they are with a 3rd and 14, and on a rainy night at that. And so Brady's going to have to make a big play here.
Yeah, trips right for Brady, one running back to his immediate left. He's in the shotgun. It looks like they're going to bring pressure. That pressure is immediately met with resistance. Number 15, excellent catch.
Great play
by Wilmington. Number 15 for them is Ryan Camp, so a senior 5'10", 165-pounder that brings in a very well-thrown ball. That's what Wilmington is expecting to do the whole night.
Great pass and a great catch. Ryan is their 2nd receiver, I believe, as far as statistics go on offense. Great receiver. And so that was a great play, great hands to keep these chains moving. This is what Wilmington needs to do.
Yep. Wilmington brought the ball up high, so there are 2 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Brady Evans is able to set his feet, but it is knocked down by Thomas Myers.
Big Thomas.
Yeah, Big Thomas. Thomas J. Myers, as he likes to be called. So usually with those cleats and that helmet on, we'll give him 6'6", if not maybe 6'7", but a good reach there to put his hands up and drop that ball to the turf. So it's 2nd down and 10. Brady Evans looks over to the sideline to get the call, gets his offensive call and set. Looks like it's going to be trips left. 1 receiver to the right, and then Mayer behind him in the shotgun formation. Wilmington has some size up front. I don't think size is the issue. Brady Evans takes the hard snap back to him. Number 14 is able to bring that ball in. He's met immediately by Griffin Lacken, but is able to hold on to the ball. Number 14 for them is Isaiah Rigling, who's a freshman, listed at 5'9", 155 pounds. So must be a great athlete. Wilmington to put a freshman in, and maybe some of that is also the injuries that we've talked about.
Yeah, well, that's how you play on Friday nights, is making plays. He got a stick right after he called it, and then he runs for another yard or two. So great play there by the freshman. Didn't realize he was so young, but I tell you what, that's how you show up. You make those plays on Friday nights, that'll get you a spot on the offense.
Excellent job by Wilmington to keep this momentum going, this drive going. Trips left, single receiver right. Looks like the pass is caught by Mayer. He's going to be met by Clinton-Massie defenders, Spencer Branham and Garrett Trampler. Also, Brock Speaks is working on that tackle as well, but it's going to be enough for a first down.
Great play for Mayer to come back because that was kind of underthrown. He stops, makes the play, and then he had to run 3 or 4 yards to get the first down. So good hands out of that running back there, and to be on this team, you got to have good hands.
So they went trips left. They did a wheel route, and that Mayer was able to get the ball there in space. Did an excellent job. So trips left, single receiver right. He's going to throw the ball. It's tipped again. They are going to call that an incomplete pass because his hand was moving forward. So I think that one might have just slipped out of his hand because it was wet.
Yeah, and this is just a terrible disadvantage for the Wilmington Hurricanes here. With this rain, with this weather conditions, it's no doubt hurts a team like this that's predominantly passing. So it's a struggle. With that momentum, you don't need plays like that to stop your momentum here. So
Brady Evans gets the hard snap. It goes to Mayer. He's going to be brought down with about a 2-yard gain, so that's going to make it 3rd and 7. Again, they're not going to abandon the run. I think it's purposeful. I think whether they're going to get 2 yards or 5 yards, and they're going to give him about 4 yards on that one, so it's going to make it 3rd and 5. I think they're going to stay with the run for quite a while just to make sure that Massie isn't able to drop 8 into coverage.
Yeah, and you see a good hard run. These guys aren't giving up, and I like that. Nobody wants to see a blowout. We want to see a great game, and I like this out of Wilmington answer and said we're going to play tough, we're going to play strong.
Absolutely. Brady Evans with the run. He's stopped in the backfield by Braxton Green, number 68, and then that's cleaned up by 43, Clayton Shealy, who immediately reaches down to pick him up. I mean, Brady's known these guys forever. In fact, Brady is a guy that's played, baseball with these guys, basketball with these guys throughout the years. He only transferred to Wilmington his 8th grade year, so the first 7 years of school were spent with most of these guys most of those guys a year ahead of him are in the same grade. 2-by-2 look with a single running back next to Evans. Evans drops back, has plenty of time to throw. He releases. Ball is caught by Coomer. Coomer does a great job hauling that ball in and protecting it because Dalton Wolf was right behind him to try to knock the ball out. Coomer is just a little bit slow getting up. But excellent job by Coomer there, and it looks like they're going to give that to him. They are going to say that he is short.
Yep.
They're going to say he's short. It looked like he actually had the space there. Dalton Wolf did a great job not only trying to get rid of the ball out of his hands, but bringing him down right in time. So nice pass by Brady Evans, nice catch by Cam Coomer. But unfortunately for the Wilmington Hurricane, that ball is going to be turned over on down. So at this point, the wishbone look and a single tight end to the left is set up, single receiver to the right. Clinton-Massie snaps the ball, and the ball is going to go to Robbie Frederick. Nope, actually it's faked. And it's fumbled for just a second because the pitch didn't land where it's supposed to. It was supposed to land in Brendan Lamb's hands, and it got a little loose with the water probably on his hands at this point, and Brendan was able to pick that ball up quickly and advance it just a little bit. So that's going to be the end of the first quarter. Clinton-Massie at this point with the first quarter over is up 21-0. So all of you listening right now, we're going to hand out a number. If you would like to text this number, we would love to hear from you and know where you're listening to this game, who you're rooting for, what you'd like to see, and maybe if you have a question for both EJ and I, we'd love to answer that. So that number is 937-303-8069. I'll repeat that, and you can write it down if you need a moment. 937-303-8069. So we've got great engineers here for Campus Nation. I'm sure they'd love to know where people are listening to from all over the world. I know that there's people that are serving our great country in other countries and willing to listen to this broadcast because they're excited about Clinton-Massie football and this rivalry in particular, Clinton-Massie Wilmington. So Hurricane fans, Falcon fans, let us hear from you. 937-303-8069. Clinton-Massie in the wishbone, single tight end to the Oh, Brendan Lamb breaks through immediately, and it's going to be off to the races for Brendan Lamb. Is he able to outrun the last guy, number 14? Number 14 is going to bring him down, but it's going to be in the end zone. Touchdown, Brendan Lamb. So I would agree with you. Wilmington Hurricane come out and said, we're not going to be intimidated. We're going to make sure you know we're still here. And they put together a fantastic drive to end the first quarter. And Clinton-Massie said, well, you know what, we'll just do it on one play.
Well, the play before this was indicative of the night. The break's kind of going Massey's way. It fumbles right into Lamb's hand. Then they get it, start the second quarter, and he busts a huge play here for a touchdown. And you see the strength, the speed of number 23 there. He's awful hard to stop once he gets rolling down the field.
Yeah, I'd say that at this point, probably Coach Killen is thinking to himself that maybe that one safety back is possibly a good idea because, again, Brendan Lamb was able to break through that first and second layer, and then there was just nobody left. Grant Avey with a low snap, a great hold by Zantini. So number 2, our holder is Cody Zantini. He is a freshman and the son of our offensive coordinator, Jeske Zantini. So he does a great job on the point after attempts and field goals, being the holder. And I'm sure at some point, maybe in this playoff run, he might get to toss one into the end zone if there's a trick play set up. So Grant Avey's able to make that one, and it's going to bring us with just 12 seconds off the clock in the second quarter. It's now 28-0 with Brendan Lamb. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't see the setup, but I'm thinking at least a 70-yard run there. Is that going to be close?
Yeah, it looked to be 65,
80?
70 yards.
80-yard run. Okay,
right.
So 80. Hey, we'll give him the extra 10 yards. Absolutely. If he wants it, we deserve it. And you had said in the earlier part of the broadcast that there was a couple of numbers floating around. The number that I got was 23 carries and 220 yards at last week's New Richmond game. So coming back after a 3-game hiatus and putting 220 yards on a team is an excellent job by Lamb, and I'm sure he's excited to get that one out of the way because he wants to be a part of this rivalry now that he's a part of Clinton-Massie football. That ball is going to be skied high to Coomer about the 13-yard line. He's going to reverse field. Now he's going to change and come back up the sideline. He goes out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. So a nice return. He gets the ball and brings it upfield. Tried to reverse field, realized that there was a whole lot of blue jerseys over there, and then he tried to go for the sideline and was able to get a few extra yards that way.
Kudos to the defender. Pulled up when he stepped out of bounds. I thought he was going to lay a stick on him there and get a penalty, but he pulled up. So, hey, Massey's playing discipline. I don't think there's any flags on the field thus far in this game. And so we got a good disciplined game, good running game, good passing game out of Massey. Now, what's going to be ideal for them is to get to this half and say, okay, we can rest a lot of our starters and rest them for week 11 if we go up 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, what's your mentality at this point? What is the number as the coach do you want to see on the scoreboard before you're willing to make that decision, that, hey, should we rest a few guys decision? Because Wilmington can score quick. They can score with just a few seconds on the clock, and they can go quite a few yards on Brady's arm.
Yeah, I think you want at least 35, 40-point lead because a guy that can hang up 50 points against Batavia and have hung up 50 points at different points, you want to be up 40 in the third midway through. But, yeah, so far so good for the Falcons.
Brady Evans is bringing the ball out wide to number 15. That's Custis. Camp. Yeah, that's Camp. That's Camp. You're right. And he breaks a couple tackles. Bryce Seaman's going to end up bringing him out of bounds. But, yes, they are going to finally call him out of bounds. So quite a long run. It looks like they went from about the 25 or so to, let's see where the referee's going to spot it. He's going to spot about the 20.
I think they heard us, Matt.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah.
Too early to talk about that.
Yeah, so it looks like about a 60-yard run from 25 to 25 or so. Excellent job by Camp. Was able to break past the defender and then basically outrun Griffin Lackey, even though he did put an attempt to tackle on him. So let's see if Falcons can bow their back here and keep him out of the end zone. Brady Evans opens the ball up to number 8, but it's just out of his hands. Number 8 for Wilmington is Custis, junior, 6'3" at 180. The ball was, it was there. It was a little high.
Yeah, good arm, though.
But great arm, and I'll tell you, I think he missed an opportunity to score on that one. I think that was an opportunity that he's going to wish he had back. Brady Evans looks to his sideline to get the play. Great coaching staff over there in Wilmington, ours as well, but Wilmington does a great job. I know a lot of those guys over there. Gary Massey, interesting, his name is Gary Massey. He's actually a coach for Wilmington, a great man and a good coach over there, does track as well. So brought into the hands of number 8 that time, and he's able to bring it in. And Corey May jumps on his back immediately, but Custis comes down with the ball, and he's going to get about 8 yards out of that. So it's going to be 3rd and 2 from the Clinton-Massie 12-yard line. Evans is looking for a quick snap. Looks like it's going to be a run. Oh, he jumped off sides, and they're going to give a false start to number 75 on the Wilmington Hurricane. Their left tackle did get started a little early there.
Yeah, and you don't want to kill your momentum. You do. You want to see Wilmington get in here, fight back, scrap a little bit, and get back in this ball game tonight. And you see there's no give up in them. I think we talked to early, and they took offense to that, and they said, well, let's see if we can't go down here and march in this end zone.
Even the Wilmington coaches are listening to the broadcast. They're so excited to hear about us and what we're bringing to the table that they have their earpieces in, and they got a little upset and called the big play there from the 25-yard line. So it looks like Wilmington setting up in a 2-by-2 look with a single running back. They fake the run. Ball goes to number 15, but it looks like Garrett Trampler is going to be called for pass interference. I do see that his left hand went towards the ball. The question is, and I couldn't see from here, where was his right hand at?
Yeah, he probably got him. I'm telling you what, though, from this angle, this kid can throw a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he is accurate. He was on it. I mean, this kid can whip a ball around. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, especially in the cold weather, the rainy weather. They're having to change the balls out pretty regularly. He's still very accurate for the most part. 1 or 2 throws have been a little bit high. One that I'm sure he'd like to have back towards the end zone to number 8, Custis. But at this point, it is what we thought it would be, and that is the Brady Evans show on offense because the guy can throw. We've only seen one real purposeful run out of him. He's been able to scramble to the right or to the left a little bit. He's able to roll out that way as well a little bit. Now he's going to set up in a 2-by-2 look. Clinton-Massie has looks like no pressure's being brought. Mayer is going to get swallowed up pretty quickly, so I don't think they were able to gain much on that. It looks like it's going to be 2nd down, and they might have gained a yard, so it's going to be 2nd and maybe from the 7-yard line or so. So it's 2nd and goal at this point. Clinton-Massie trying to keep them out of the end zone. Clinton-Massie defense, I've talked to most of their players, and it's very important for them to shut out no touchdowns for the league, the SBAAC league. And at this point, then they've been able to do that. So they're not going to be happy here if they give one up to Brady Evans. Brady Evans gets the shotgun snap. He's able to throw the ball wide. That's going to be over the head of that freshman that we talked about earlier, number 14, Isaiah Wriggling.
Yeah, you see the arm here. Brady wants to get in there. These guys want to get in there, and it's just going to be a matter of wills right now. Who can stop who? Wilmington, love to see him get on the board here, get a little momentum, but Massey, with that streak going on, they want to stop this.
Yeah, they're not going to be happy with any score at any point in the game, and they definitely don't want to give one up to somebody that they, think should be wearing the blue, Brady Evans. They think they should be on our side, and they wouldn't be happy to let him score. So it looks like they're getting a shotgun snap. It looks like he might have left early. It looks like he's going to try to – so I thought they were setting up a screen, but it was actually a crossing route to number 8, Custis. Corey May was able to – keep his receiver behind him, and Griffin Lackey was able to kind of disrupt that ball a little bit.
And a great
job.
pass rush out of this Massey defensive line.
Yeah, they actually kept 2 receivers in, so they brought in a couple of receivers onto the line, and it was just looked like a 2-man route with the running back going out as well. But it looked like the extra protection didn't help that particular time for Brady Evans. So he's going to take that shotgun snap this time. From about the 7-yard line, gets the ball, surveys the field. Coomer gets the ball. Brock Speaks is able to get the interception. The ball bounced right back to him. Brock Speaks is going to bring the ball to the 12-yard line. So Brady Evans' pass bounces off the Wilmington Hurricane receiver into the hands of Brock Speaks.
Yeah, and that's just how the Knights went.
Yeah.
When they pitched it to Massey earlier, it bounced right into the hands of Lamb. Now you see the bounces and the breaks go the Massey way again. If you're a Falcon fan, you're pretty happy tonight getting all these breaks.
So that's the second interception. So coming into this game, we had mentioned already 25 for 10, 25 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. He'll add 2 to that, so it's going to be 25 and 12 at this point. Clinton-Massie, you had mentioned in double-digit interceptions already, now up to 13 for the season. Ball's going to go back to Jake Vaughn. Jake Vaughn makes a couple moves, but he's going to get swallowed up pretty quickly. He's going to get just a couple yards on that play. I know that the Wilmington Hurricanes is excited to bring him down because they kind of feel somewhat like Massey feels about Brady Evans. You know, why would you leave home to go across the railroad tracks there, we'll say. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it's all in good fun at this point.
Yeah, well, we hope so.
Yeah. At this point, we haven't had to pull out the chippy comment just yet.
There's no pinching and punching in that pile. But, yeah, just a good rivalry. They want to stop Vaughn tonight and say, nope, we're going to not let you do that to us. So he still got 2 or 3 hard yards.
They'd rather somebody else beat him than him, I think, at this point. So a big fake, and the counter goes back to Lamb. He makes 2 people miss. Little shimmy, little shake that's going to bring him almost ready to the first down. So there's that counter play that Massey likes to hold on to just a little bit. So it's a fake pitch one way, we'll say this time to the offensive left. And then Brendan Lamb comes from his slot position with a pulling guard to his right. And they opened up a pretty big hole, but the defense did a good job closing it pretty quickly.
But those moves, you're seeing a healthy 23. His quad is healing up. You're seeing the juke moves to take a 1-yard gain into about 3 or 4 yards. So now we got a little 3rd and 1 here to go.
3rd and 1. So excited about seeing what Clinton-Massie can do here. Brendan Lamb gets the ball. He's able to get the yard, and then he's met pretty quickly by the defense. Number 45, you had mentioned him before. That's Brett Brooks. He's actually a freshman at 5'10", 260 pounds, was able to bring that ball carrier down for Massey, which was Brendan Lamb. So big man in the middle there, made a great play, but it was just a little bit late, and they already had received enough yards for the first down.
You notice with Wilmington, you're calling out freshmen and sophomores. This looks like their future is going to look pretty good if these guys are playing on Friday night.
Absolutely. Yeah, might be preparing here for a couple of years, knowing that they're 4 and 5, maybe getting a few people some touches that normally wouldn't. Jake Vaughn goes in motion. He's going to get the pitch. Great block by Seth Schmidt there on the outside. Jake Vaughn's able to
Good cut.
Oh, great cut, and brings the ball up to a first down for Clinton-Massie. So that's an 11-yard run for Jake Vaughn. Seth Schmidt did a great job pushing his defender out. Jake Vaughn cuts it right up underneath. And here's the thing about Jake Vaughn. He is a good, yak guy, yards after contact. So he might get hit, in the first yard or 2 of his run, and he does a good job keeping his body weight forward. Yeah. He's always falling forward. Even at the end of that run, he got 11 yards, but he fell for another yard. So excellent job by Vaughn. Absolutely. So this time Brendan Lamb goes in motion. Robbie Frederick's going to get the ball, and the ball's going to be, he's going to be brought down quickly. Just maybe a half-yard gain. In fact, they're barely even going to move the stick. So it's 2nd and 9.5, we'll say at this point. I think their dive option is very similar to what Wilmington is doing with the run. They just want to make sure you recognize, hey, it's still there.
Still there.
Hey, I'm still going to give this dive every once in a while. Yeah, I know we scored on it from the first play scrimmage. I know it was a 60-yard gain. But you know what? We're just going to come back to it every once in a while and wait for you guys to just fall asleep, and then hopefully he'll break another one off. So wishbone backfield. Robbie Frederick sets up for the block this time. Brendan Lamb breaks one loose. He's able to make one man miss. He spins. He brings the ball back up. He almost lost that one for a second. You could tell he felt it shaking just a little bit because he brought his second hand over to cover that up. So that's a first down run by Brendan Lamb.
20-yard gain for Lamb. Yeah, you see the ball slip, and he gets hold of it, breaking those tackles. But you see his strength there. You saw speed when he ran the 70-yarder for the touchdown, but you see his strength there to break free and just use those strong legs.
It was funny. I almost said, but held it to myself, that I was waiting to see the spin move. We got to see a spin move real quick there, so excellent job. So Brendan Lamb's kind of known for the spin move. Looks like the wishbone double tight setup, and they're going to stop that play before it ever gets going. Looks like a timeout by Wilmington. Wilmington's going to take a timeout. We'll just take a moment here just to remind you that we do have a number available if you'd like to send us a message. That message can be sent via text at 937-303-8069. So again, 937-303-8069. 6'9". So we're looking forward to hearing from a few people here. If you're out of the country, if you're in another state, if you're a Clinton-Massie Falcon or a Wilmington Hurricane, we'd love to hear from any of you, just to let us know who's listening to Campus Nation across the nation and maybe even in other nations.
Yes,
so,
salute to any troops out there. If you're listening
Absolutely.
overseas, we love you, we respect you, and we thank the Lord for you and all the sacrificing and work you do. So kudos to you guys. God bless you. Want to say this, though, Matt, about the transfer. Brady Evans went to Massey, transferred to Wilmington. Jake Vaughn. And I don't think it's necessarily one of those where – I think it's one of those where it suits their skills. Brady says, I want to throw.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to do that in the Clinton-Massie offense. You're not going to go throw 25, 35 times a game.
Correct.
And for Jake, he wants to run the ball. And in a Wilmington offense, when they're whipping it around, you're not going to run it 20 or 30 times. So it just suits their skill set more than anything. And so they get to kind of utilize their skill set that they have.
Absolutely. Clinton-Massie and their wishbone. Looks like they're going to try to air this one out. The ball's going to go open to Corey May. So Corey May did have it in his breadbasket for just a moment, but that's a good play on the ball by number 21, it looks like, for the Wilmington Hurricane, Kendall France, who's a sophomore, wide receiver DB at 6'3", 170. Again, that sophomore note lets you know that they are kind of young here. Just a couple quick notes here. So Clinton-Massie on up 28-0 with 6:15 left in the second quarter. As we change out a few people on the Clinton-Massie offensive side of the ball, they're going to go for a receiver right, receiver left, double slot look with Brendan Lamb and Jake Vaughn in the slots. Robbie Fredericks right behind the quarterback in his fullback position. So widening out a little bit here, this is what we consider the Clinton-Massie spread look. Corey Stoltz doing a great job. He faked the fullback dive. He was able to hold on to that ball, and he brought that ball for a first down run. Again, just the elusiveness, just enough speed to where he's able to break into that second level. And then once he does, he's got a little hitch in that giddy up and can move for him.
Yeah, I don't know if you want anybody else running this offense than him right now, with as good as he is at decision making and as quick as he is on his feet. So just a great senior leadership by Corey.
Yeah, excellent job by Corey Stoltz. He is truly the brains behind the brawn, and the brawn is up in front of him there. So double slot look. Jake Vaughn goes into motion. This time it goes to Robbie Fredericks. He's able to break through, and he's going to score again easily, ladies and gentlemen, by 10 yards. Robbie Fredericks with a dive, didn't we say? Here's the dive. We're going to stay with it. We're going to stay with it. You're going to fall asleep. All of a sudden we're going to score again.
Hole
Exactly.
opens up. Robbie takes advantage of it.
Excellent job. So at this point, 34-0 is your score with the point after attempt coming with 5:40 left in the second quarter. So excellent job by the Clinton-Massie offense, holding on to the ball for a little bit, eating up some time, eating up some clock, eating up some yards, and then Robbie Fredericks with the little punch there at the end into the end zone. Excellent job going untouched, about 20-25 yards there to end it.
I love to see Robbie. When he gets a hole, both hands are on the ball.
Absolutely.
He secures the ball, and then
Love
once
it.
he gets in the open field, he's deceptively fast.
Absolutely.
Because he's ran out on 2 plays, ran 2 long runs for touchdowns tonight.
Excellent job by Robbie Fredericks. This time the point after attempt is good, so yet another one made by Grant Avey. They like to call him Gravy. So Gravy with another point after attempt.
Oh, it's gravy tonight.
It's gravy tonight, yeah.
It's gravy tonight.
Give me a biscuit because we're going to stop all this game up with gravy. It's a fun time. Good times here by Clinton-Massie. They're having a ball up 35-0 with 5:40 left in the second quarter. Robbie Fredericks trotting back to that kickoff team, I'm sure, is excited to go make a tackle after he made a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, Robbie's gritty, and you've seen a lot of those gritty runs and doesn't go down with initial contact, and you see him hold the ball, make some great cutback moves, and just a great running back to have on this stable of running backs tonight.
And as we're setting up, ladies and gentlemen, we just invite you to go to Campus Nation, the Internet Sports Authority, and check out their game of the week from the last few weeks. They've had some great competition there, going back from Lackawanna against Hocking at Hocking, Franklin at Mount St. Joseph, Lake Erie at Urbana, and then Capital at Mount St. Joseph going back into the month of September. So visit Campus Nation not only for your high school sports, but for your college sports and your semi-professional sports. Football is hot right now, even though the weather is cold. So Cam Coomer is making a few people miss and gets all the way back to the 30-yard line. So excellent return. I think after those initial couple bobbles, he's kind of ready to go and excited about making a big return here for the Wilmington Hurricane.
Yeah, they got the butterflies out of their system.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it's a little too, it might be a bit late for them. They got the butterflies out. Now they're holding on to the ball. So they're going to try to chip away at this right now, see if they can't move the ball a little bit.
Yeah, I think the key to Wilmington right now is to keep the ball as long as they possibly can. They've shown, unfortunately, right now they're not able to stop Clinton-Massie on offense. Don't turn the ball over. Don't give them anything easy. Keep the ball, long, sustained drive. Keep them in this game as long as they possibly can stay. So Brady Evans sets up, high snap and a quick snap, but Mayer's able to outrun Griffin Lackey to the edge, and he's going to get a good solid 6 or 7 yards on that. A nice first initial cut move, and then he was able to get outside of Griffin Lackey, so excellent job there by Mayer, their leading rusher, and they're going to give him almost 8 yards on that play. Excellent job.
Good run to get to the outside there, a little bit of speed there to get to the end. Now they've set him up a nice little second and short here.
So Brady Evans, again, in that shotgun formation, tight end to the left, 2 receivers to the right. Oh, it looks like probably going to be off. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be illegal procedure there, a false start. So it's going to be false start on Wilmington Hurricane. It looks like the snap stayed and a few people moved.
Yeah, they missed the count. Somebody wasn't on the same page there. Everyone started running. The center didn't snap it.
Absolutely. So the center is the guy that has to know the snap count, actually, even before the quarterback does. So in that particular exchange, I think there was a little miscommunication there. So Clinton-Massie's going to watch them move back about 5 yards, creating a 2nd and 8 at this point. Brock Speaks gets his defense ready to go. Middle linebacker, excellent young man and a leader on that defensive squad. Bryce Siemens to his left immediately. They're going back in coverage at this point. Cam Coomer drops the ball. They're going to call it an incomplete pass. So the ball came into him for just a second, but the elusive football move didn't happen. He has to make a football move to be considered in possession, and he wasn't able to do that. Corey May was able to stick his hand and swat that ball away, which brought it down to the carpet and gives Wilmington a 3rd and 7, almost 8.
We don't have video replay, so we don't get to look at it again. But looked like almost a great catch there, and they just couldn't hold on to it with this wet ball.
Yeah. Actually, at Campus Nation, we do have replay. They do an excellent job at Campus Nation, so I'm sure our viewers will get to see that play quickly. Brady Evans gets the ball back. He's able to bring the ball back to Cam Coomer, and that tackle is going to be made by Nathan Allgaier, number 14 for Clinton-Massie. It's going to be 4th down, and it looks like about 5 yards, and the punting unit's going to come on for the Wilmington Hurricane.
Unfortunate penalty there when they had 2nd and short, and then puts them back to 2nd and long and 3rd and long. Make the catch, but just not enough. Now here comes Massey rolling. Going to be taking possession again late in this 2nd quarter.
We're going to try to get you a couple updates. Right now, the time left is 4:03 in the 2nd quarter. Up 35-0 are the Clinton-Massie Falcons. So we're going to try to get you a couple score updates. Spencer Brandon almost blocks that ball. Garrett Trampler tells everybody to stay away from it. And Wilmington's going to down the ball at about the 30-yard line for Clinton-Massie. So not a bad punt. No mistakes, I think, is the key at this point. If they're going to make a block, go ahead and make a block. But if they're not able to get there, don't rush the punter. Don't hurt the punter.
Little break there by the Hurricanes because it was almost blocked, as you can see there. But he gets it off, and so they got about a 70-yard field to go. And so be interesting to see here what Massey will do. And probably see a lot more of that run game here.
Some people around this area might be interested in the score. So Steubenville is up 7-0 on the University School Preppers out of, I believe, that's probably Pennsylvania, if I'm not correct. Wishbone look, tight end to the left, receiver to the right. Jake Vaughn gets the pitch, does a little stutter step, but he's going to be brought out of bounds. Hard hit by Custis there, number 8 for Wilmington Hurricane. So Chris Custis brings him out of bounds quickly and violently. Brings him down. So excellent defensive play by the Wilmington Hurricane. For those of you interested, we are going to have a little Clinton-Massie basketball preview at halftime. So we're going to be joined by men's head coach and women's head coaches up here to talk to EJ and I. So Todd Cook from our men's side and Tim McGraw from our women's side are going to share some of their thoughts of the season here. We have about 3 minutes before we'll get to that, so we're excited to talk to them. People stay tuned for that. Clinton-Massie brings their double slot look, receiver to the right open. Lamb looks like he was going to. Oh, Robbie Frederick off again. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me that Robbie Frederick is going to score for a 3rd time. And this one looks like it's another 68-yard run. I mean, is this Robbie Frederick's night or what? Robbie Frederick has 3 touchdowns, 2 of them over 60 yards, another 25-yarder on top of it. And I'm telling you, once he got to the linebacker level, there was nobody close to him.
No, they're coming up. And in the words of the old MC Hammer song, you can't touch this.
You can't touch him, that's for sure. It just seems
what a night for Robbie. He deserves it.
Oh, my gosh.
He's played hard all season and second leading rusher on the team. Man, he's had hard-earned yards, but he needs some nights like this where he can just get in the open field and turn on the wheels, and man, he's taking full advantage of it.
How fun for him. So Clinton-Massie also has some interest in a few other games that might help their Hardman points. Gravy is going to make the kick, and that one's up and ready and good as well. 42-0 is your score. So we're going to check a quick game here. The Bishop Fenwick is down 14-7 to Carroll, Dayton Carroll.
Oh, wow.
So that would be a big win for Carroll, but would take points away from Massey because we need a win for Fenwick. So we're going to try to check a few other scores for you so we can keep you updated. Those of you that are interested in the competition going around here in Southwest Ohio and across the state that could have ramifications on playoff opportunities. You know, unfortunately, I don't want to say too much too soon and too down on the Wilmington Hurricane, but, you know, this one's starting to turn a little bit ugly with a 42-0 score with 2:52 left. At this point, if you're Wilmington, do anything you can to get into halftime. Whatever it is you can do, just get into halftime and be able to move on.
Yeah, Hurricanes on this rainy night is kind of dealing with Hurricane Frederick, so
yeah,
kind of a rough night for them.
Absolutely.
On this night. So if they can get in, you know, some nights the ball just don't bounce your way, and this has been one of those nights for Wilmington. But they're going to fight. They're going to fight and chip away here.
Reverse by Wilmington. Bryce Seaman saw it coming, though, so Bryce Seaman not fooled at all, was able to bring him down about the 30-yard line. So excellent job, good eyes by Bryce Seaman. He's able to bring down Coomer, who had pitched the ball, actually, I believe that was to Mayer, and they're brought down at the 30-yard line, and that's where Wilmington will start. So Wilmington trying to mount some offense at this point. Robbie Frederick is the offense for the Falcons. It's a 3-touchdown night for him. If you add quickly in your head, you got a 60, a 60, and a 25. That to me, that's 145 yards automatically, if not a little bit more with some other runs that he's had. What a fantastic night for Robbie Frederick, and like you said, well-deserved. A kid that probably coming out of camp did not have a starting position. He had to fight to get on the field.
He's earned it.
He has, absolutely. There's no way you can take him off of that offensive game plan at this point because he's done an excellent job. So 2-by-2 look. Brady Evans opens up quickly, and Garrett Trampler kind of touches the ball to bring it up into the air against number 15. That's Ryan Camp, and he almost was able to pull that in when turning around to try to bring that in and cause another interception, which would have been the third interception for the night.
Yeah. You see this defense stepping up. These DBs are playing great tonight because you have to against Brady. He's such a great passer, and I'm just proud of these guys. Yeah,
number 8 brought that ball in. That's Custis for Wilmington. Did a great job there with a cold, wet ball. Was able to bring that in. It's going to be close to the first down for Wilmington. We're going to set up here with about 3rd and 4 left. 2-by-2 look for Brady Evans. He gets the shotgun snap. He's going to look quickly to Custis. Custis is going to bring it in, and he's going to be brought down by number 1, Corey May. But I do believe that's going to be enough for them to get a first down. So Wilmington's able to move the ball at this point, like we said. Like we said, make sure you hold on to the ball as long as you can and take this into halftime. If you score, you score, but the most important thing at this point is don't allow Clinton-Massie to have the ball again. And if you do everything to stop Robbie Frederick, I would say.
Yeah, tonight is Robbie Rev It Up Fredericks.
Absolutely.
So, he's rolling, and Wilmington just needs to get on the board here if they could. If they could get in here with the score, take some time off the clock, but it's just going to be tough on this rainy night.
That first pass is incomplete from Brady Evans. Good coverage on the field by number 22, Garrett Trampler, and number 11, Tate Oberding. So Brady Evans is going to set up his offense again. They're at the Wilmington 43-yard line, and it looks like you got just about 2:04 left in the first quarter with the score 42-0 Clinton-Massie Falcons. Braxton Green and Thomas Myers are your bookends on the defensive end. Evans lays it out, and this time Trampler, while facing the ball, so it's not pass interference, was able to knock that ball down on Camp. Camp is definitely a threat outside. He's able to create just a little bit of separation on that outside. So he's got some speed to him, and we've already seen his hands so far.
Yeah, he just he's a bit tonight that was underthrown just a bit by Brady there, and so they were able to come back and make a play on the ball there.
So excellent job by Clinton-Massie defenders. They're going to stop this play quickly, and they're going to call a false start on Wilmington. So if you're Wilmington, boy, the one thing you don't want to do is give them free yards. There's no reason.
Yeah.
These pre-snap penalties, I'm sure, is driving Scott Killen absolutely crazy. But at this point, you just got to kind of bow your neck a little bit and hope that you can hold on to the ball for at least about 1 minute and 57 seconds left before you have to hand it back over to Massey to start the second half. So Clinton-Massie up at this point by a sizable margin of 42-0 as we come to an end almost in the second quarter. Brady Evans in the shotgun with one running back to his left. That's Mayer, their leading rusher. 2-by-2 look, swings the ball out to number 14. And that's going to be a little bit too high for him. Had an opportunity for Massey, the defender, to get their hand in there. And it's going to be 4th down, and it looks like the punting unit's going to come on.
Yep, here they come. Here comes the special teams again tonight for the Hurricanes. So we're going to see another possession by Massey. I don't know if they'll try to score on this. They may. But you just see that defense playing so good, and they've just really gotten to their own this week. Yeah, this block, the block.
Oh, ball bounces on the ground. He's able to pick it up. He starts to run. He doesn't know exactly what to do. He throws the ball. It's picked up by number 45, but they're going to call him down because his knee was down. So the punter, the ball went to the ground. The punter tried to pick it up. He bobbled it just a little bit and recognized very quickly that there was no way he was going to get that kickoff. So now he starts running. He sees a wall of blue and turns around and starts the other way. And unfortunately, there was another wall of blue built there as well.
He sees the blue wave, and he kind of didn't know what to do there. So he was trying to probably lateral it back, but that was ineffective. And now Massey with great field possession down here in Wilmington territory.
So if the coaches do have their earpieces listening to this broadcast, I don't think they heard the whole don't give the ball back to Massey. Jake Vaughn is able to bring that ball in. Excellent catch. Excellent catch right up the seam. Jake Vaughn flips it to the referee as he sets up at about the 2-yard line. So great pass, great catch.
Number 3 wanted 6, though.
He wanted. Oh, he wanted to score against his rival.
Give him the ball.
Absolutely. Don't take him out. Don't take him out. I was going to say, give it to him, baby.
Give him the rock in
Absolutely.
This game.
So he's excited. Please call that play for Jake Vaughn, and let's get him a score here against his old teammates here. Number 3 in the backfield, number 23 in the backfield, number 12, Corey Stoltz. They are going to give it to Vaughn. Vaughn's going to cut up, and it looks like he is scored for Clinton-Massie Falcons. Excellent job. I'm sure that is very big for him, exciting for him. Big score for him against his former team, the Wilmington Hurricane. And right now we're looking at a 48-0, potentially 49-0 lead after this PAT. And so far, Grant Avey's been perfect. But as soon as that comes out of my mouth, I think to myself, what in the world did I just say?
Well, hopefully not a big deal tonight if he missed it, but he wants to stay perfect, I know. Now the biggest thing is motivation for Wilmington. Do you want? I mean, that locker room's going to be nice and warm, and you just got to get motivated to want to come out and be a part of it and to play the second half hard.
Absolutely. So Wilmington at this point, what do you say, EJ, if you're the Wilmington Hurricane coaches? What are you saying when you're down 49-0 to a team that's clearly, dominating every aspect of the game?
Well, I mean, you look at your seniors, you say this is the last night you guys this is your last game you get to play. Enjoy it, play hard, finish hard, and just get out there and give everything you can, because this is for some of these seniors. A lot of youth on this team, but for these seniors, it's their last night. Give it everything you got, leave it all on the field, and right now it just goes down to pride. You don't want to give up, you don't want to give in.
Yeah, it's senior night for really the Wilmington Hurricane, especially because at the record of 4-5, this is going to be the last game of the season for them. I'm sure they'd like to finish at least 500, but 49-0 is a big mountain to climb.
Yeah.
So I'd say at this point they're looking at what can they do to have some pride towards the end of this game and stop this, at this point, vaunted Massey offense. Not only the Robbie Frederick show, the Brendan Lamb show, and a little bit of the Jake Vaughn here at the end show. So nice job by Grant Avey. I'll tell you, that is an exceptional kick. So he sent that ball in the air to about the 20-yard line.
Oh,
It
yeah.
had great rotation, great backspin on it, and all Cam Coomer could do was catch the ball and step out of bounds. That is a fantastic hit by Grant Avey. I don't know if that was purposeful. I'm going to say that it was. We're going to give him credit and say that that was a plan.
And I'm going to tell him to take up golf, because if you can lay it
Yeah.
down like that, put the backspin on it, I'm going to say go take up a golf game, and because that was just precise right there.
That's a wedge shot right
That
there
was
from
precise.
deep in the sand trap.
Yep.
So excellent job by Grant Avey. Gravy is not only doing his PATs well, he's doing his kickoffs well. And like you said, everything just kind of rolling for Clinton-Massie, including kickoff placement. So Brady Evans is going to be met in the backfield. Oh, almost picked off on the play. Number 14, Nathan Algar, had a play on the ball. That was 14 against 14 against Isaiah Ringling, who's their freshman. That's getting a little playing time tonight on Friday Night Lights. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 from the 22, almost 22-yard line of Wilmington. So a lot of pressure right there on Brady Evans.
Yeah. Now, Matt, refresh me. Is there a running clock if the points in the third and fourth quarter is?
It is. So
Okay.
second half, it would be a running clock if
Okay.
they're up by 30 points or more. So
Okay.
at this point, it'd be running clock unless Hurricane does something big here. So Nathan Algar again on the coverage. Excellent coverage. Inside position, head back to the ball. No pass interference. Hands were in front of him. I'll tell you, that's an excellent coverage by Nathan Algar, number 14. I think Garrett Trampler was giving him a little help on the outside as well. So Brady Evans is going to set up now for his 3rd down attempt, 3rd down and 10. Deep in his end zone, about the 25-yard. I'm sorry, deep in their end of the field at the 25-yard line, 26-yard line. So 21-yard line. So Brady Evans gets the shotgun snap, brings the ball back, ready to throw again. This time he's feeling a lot of pressure, and he's going to be met in the backfield by Bryce Seaman. So you had Thomas Myers coming off the edge, forced him up. Bryce Seaman's right in the hole waiting for him.
Yeah, and there's that Massey pass rush. But, I want to go back to these DBs and corners tonight, because you give a lot of credit to the Massey defensive line. But tonight, man, these DBs, corners, and safeties are just right there, step for step. So kudos to all this Massey defense, but especially the pass rush and these defenders tonight, just playing with these receivers step for step.
So we had talked about Massey wanting to make sure that they don't become that they want to make Wilmington one-dimensional, and right now it just doesn't seem like Wilmington can do much in the running game. So Massey has went to a nickel package, and they're staying in that nickel package with Nathan Algar as their 5th DB back there. Looks like Killen is going to let the clock run down, and and then finally call a timeout right before he loses another 5 yards for a delay of game. So it's going to be 4th down and 15. So he's sending on the punting unit. Oh, he just wanted to make sure that that they ate up as much clock as possible. So there's actually going to be a flag on the Massey sideline thrown by the side judge there. So we'll try to get you some information right here. I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to look like I think it's a sideline warning. Okay, so they're giving him a sideline warning against Clinton-Massie. So we'll see if we can get a little more information on that.
Okay. Speaking of sideline warning, let me ask you this, Matt. What's an update on Coach McShirley? Will we see him in the playoffs? What's kind of his?
Yeah, I was able to talk to
update on
Coach at our senior football banquet just this past Sunday evening. We spoke about just kind of what his process is to return. His hope is that he'll be back in the classroom somewhere around November 8th. He won't be cleared by the doctor until hopefully his thoughts are November 7th. So I don't know that he's going to make it back even for the first round of the playoffs. I think, honestly, at this point, he's playing it for the second round. The punt gets away. Number 10 is able to clear that. Garrett Trampler gets the ball, and this time he kind of muffs the catch, but the ball goes immediately to the floor and almost covered up by the Wilmington Hurricane, but then he's able to recover the ball. That would have been, not the way you wanted to end a half, especially if you're Garrett after having a good half covering that defensive backfield. So at this point, if I were to guess, Clinton-Massie might be just happy enough to take a knee and go into halftime with just 8 seconds left on the clock and a 49-0 score. So as the last 8 seconds tick off here, we're going to get you ready for a little information about Clinton-Massie basketball. So Clinton-Massie basketball, very exciting and interesting. So Corey Stoltz does take the knee immediately, and we're going to let the clock run out. And the halftime score is going to be 49-0 Clinton-Massie. So at this point, it's been a very dominating performance for Clinton-Massie. We're going to get back to that in just a second, but I'm going to hand over the mic to our head varsity men's basketball coach. EJ is going to take just a moment of time and touch base with him. So I'd like to hand the mic over to Todd Cook. Todd Cook, if you could come around here, I'm gonna give you the all important headset here. This is EJ Lamb. EJ Lamb's my co-host this evening, if I can get that out. EJ, this is Todd Cook. Todd Cook is our men's varsity basketball coach. He's going to share a few thoughts with you and have a few questions about the season outlook.
All right. Good to have Mr. Todd Cook with us, Clinton-Massie varsity basketball coach here in the stands. And Coach, first thing we want to say tonight, it is sure is good that you don't have to deal with rain in the basketball court.
We like that. It's a warm climate in the wintertime.
Yeah, well, it's good to have Mr. Cook here. And so basketball season is starting, of course, with Clinton-Massie. A lot of the years you're dealing with some of your players that are playing into the playoffs. So what is your approach when you have 2, 3, 4 guys that are going to be playing deep into the playoffs? What's the approach with practice and such?
First of all, we'll say instead of 2 or 3 or 4, it could be like 8, 9, or 10. Right now, when we're getting ready to start tryouts, we're going to have approximately 13 people. That's freshman through senior. And we're going to probably have about another 18 players that's going to be coming out from football. So it does make it tough. Coming over to Clinton-Massie a couple years ago, I had to make a few adjustments early on because I had never really experienced this before. And so tryouts is just you have to go with what you have and continue to keep on implementing and putting everything in that we're going to, but then you're reteaching it all again. Yeah. So, but it's, it's wonderful for the success that the football players have. It does carry over to basketball season, but the main thing is do we get them healthy? Yeah. It just takes so long to get into basketball shape. Got to get a lot of shots up. My first year I was a big defensive person, so we practiced a lot on defense and kind of putting in new philosophies. And didn't really practice much on shooting. In the first game, whenever you miss 18 little bunnies, you realize we got to do some shooting.
Yeah, well, and that's just kind of what you deal with. But I know the school district loves it and loves these deep playoff runs. It's just hard on the basketball coach and the basketball staff to get their teams ready and get a quick turnaround and start that season. However, we love basketball season around here. I know that Massie has been known for years for football, but I feel like this year you guys have an opportunity with some transfers, with a lot of guys, like you said, coming out, that you can really turn the tide and make Massie a contender in this division this year.
Yes, and we got a lot of seniors that's coming back to our program this year, so we should have a lot of leadership on the floor. And, it being my third year here now, they know my philosophy, and I'm getting to know the kids better. And so, yes, we're looking for a great season this year once we get everybody healthy and ready to go. But, a couple new transfers that's been able to come in. That's going to be key contributors to our program.
Good. And so you come to these games tonight on night like this, and you're watching and praying and crossing your fingers, making sure everybody's healthy with basketball season starting here in a few weeks.
I'm like, saying, go ahead and get the starters out now. But it's wonderful. I stay in contact with my players, and wish them the best of luck. This is a great opportunity for them, and I would never want anything different for them.
Sure. And they love it, and they love playing football on Friday nights and love playing basketball on Tuesdays and Fridays. And so when does normally a practice begin for the Falcons? When will you guys begin to practice?
Well, state allows us to open up November 2nd on a Friday.
So 1 week?
We will actually start November 5th on a Monday, so we're going to give them that extra weekend. Because, like I said, we do not have a lot of people coming out right now because the majority of them do play football. Once we get the football players, whenever they, finish up, then we will start tryouts, if you want to call it tryouts, and just see what we have. But it's a quick process, getting everything put in and looking at certain players that may have not played last year and how it's going to go.
Well, that's it, and that's your your disadvantage in a way is a new transfer too that comes in with learning a new system, and so you got your back against the wall to teach it quickly, get these new guys in learning the system. But I know that there's a lot of excitement surrounding the basketball program this year. You think of Big Thomas Meyer out there, 6'6". You got some height in there. You got some good guard play coming in, and good senior leadership coming in. So I think there's a lot of excitement from what I sense in the community for this basketball season to kind of, hey, let's put this Massie basketball team up there and see if we can't compete for a league title this year.
And that's whenever I took the job at Clinton-Massie, that was something I wanted to do. Is I think a lot of people were just Clinton-Massie's all football, and I wanted to come in and say, hey, we do have a basketball team here and a very good program.
Yeah.
And each year we're getting more and more people coming. We won 15 games last year. And, that's very good for our program. A lot of schools will say, yeah, we'll take 15 wins every year. We weren't satisfied with the 15 because we feel we could have got a couple more and didn't do a very good job on some evenings. But, we should be right there again this year. We'll have a lot of people gunning for us. And, we got to stay together as a team, accept our roles, and just come out and play hard each and every night.
Yeah, I believe watching last year, made it to was it the second or third round of the playoffs? Played Fenwick?
Second round, yes.
Okay, played Fenwick. And I think that this year's team, like you said, with the shooters coming back and the guard play and Thomas, that it's going to be a fun year to watch it and just to be a part of that Clinton-Massie basketball, get some fans behind you, get them traveling well, get the community excited, and let them know that there's life beyond these Friday nights in the fall, that the winter's a good time to be a Massie fan too.
Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday nights, we have basketball all winter long. We'd love to have everybody out there come and support our team.
Yeah, and I was talking to some fans in the stands that have their kids in the elementary program here, and they were excited about the season. And success just begat success. And when you see that carry over in the basketball, like you said, I believe it's something that you can start to build from the elementary school all the way up. I've got a son that loves to play basketball, and you see that excitement in them. And so if you can establish that winning success now, that's just going to breed more success and a more hunger of these kids to want to get in that Clinton-Massie basketball program and just to see it succeed and see it go. So we're excited about it. And you're in your third season here. Yes, and so third season, kind of establish your coaching style, and we're excited for it. We're excited to have you.
All right. Well, we're really looking forward to it, and it's nice to hear that the youth level is excited because it's something that we have to generate. We've got to see I keep on preaching to our older kids is these young kids look up to you each and every day. Mm-hmm. So let's go out there and be a good role model for these young men. And winning is always fun. So we got a great two men that help with our youth program that I'm very close with, that we communicate with a lot. And we're going to be doing more each year as, building the youth program and getting them more involved with the varsity and high school level.
Now, do you have any camps available that are coming up in the community?
We do
in the summer.
We do a small one with Clayton Morgan. Probably will be coming up in another month. It's a one Sunday that we do about a 2-hour session, and then during the summer, Coach McGraw and we do girls and boys together for 3 days during the summer.
Okay, great. So we see this building up in the Clinton-Massie School District, and we're believing and hoping and believing for good things in the basketball program. Build on that 15 wins, hopefully get some more, and maybe you can hit that 20 win game mark. And so it's exciting to see this Massie program building up and what's in store here in just a few weeks for the Clinton-Massie fan base here in this community.
I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you tonight, and just encourage everyone to come out and support our basketball players as we continue to try to keep on improving, working together, and being successful on the basketball court just as they are on the football field.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Todd Cook. We're going to go back to Matt Baker.
Thank you.
And that is the head coach of the varsity basketball program here. And we're going to go back to Matt Baker, and he's going to interview the coach of the varsity girls program.
Yeah, excellent job. Thank you, EJ and Todd. Coach Cook, excited to hear about the thoughts and feelings about the upcoming season, the returning players. A lot of athleticism, a lot of excitement for Clinton-Massie basketball, as we've seen already tonight for Clinton-Massie football. So with me is Tim McGraw. Not that Tim McGraw. You get that all the time, I know, I'm sure. But Tim McGraw is here with us this evening, head coach of the varsity girls basketball team here at Clinton-Massie, also the head coach of the girls varsity golf program as well. So appreciate you coming on this evening. I know you've helped us out before, so thank you for helping us out again.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Excited about what we have for the season coming up in girls basketball. I know that we've talked a couple different times, and it's going to be an interesting season. And I don't say that with any concern in my voice. It's going to be interesting because we're not exactly sure what we have right now. So tell us a little bit about the returning players and maybe what your thoughts were as the season ended last year.
Correct. We ended up 8-15 last year, so we built a little bit on that first season where we won 5 games. We lost Johanna Thigi, one of our top scorers from last year, but we returned. 5 of our top 6 are starters. 4 of them were starters from last year, so we're returning quite a bit from last year. We're going to be small, so it's going to be a different style of basketball. We're going to have to play a lot of up-tempo, a lot of, changing defense a lot, and hopefully some pressing, and just a lot of different style this year.
So talk about that a little bit. So when you say you're going to change defenses, you're going to be up-tempo, I mean, what do you think that's going to bring as far as a benefit to the team?
For us, it's going to be, hopefully we'll be able to score that way. If we have to play a half-court game, we're not the greatest at that, so our strength is transition and pushing the basketball and hopefully scoring a lot of points that way. And, changing defenses, we want to make it as chaotic as possible and, just we want to make it helter-skelter.
Yeah, a little Loyola Marymount back in the day. We're gonna outlet pass. We're gonna go.
Yes, we are. We're
Absolutely.
Gonna play fast.
So let's talk a little bit about those returning starters. So you said that you did lose quite a bit of scoring with Joanna Thigi, but you'd have 4, probably 5 pretty strong returners that saw a lot of time on the court last year. So let's talk a little bit about that. So who do you think is going to be your court general? Who's the leader of this particular team?
It's kind of a mix between Mackenzie Avery and Emily Irelan. Both will run some point and they kind of work well together, and they both can get the ball up the floor quick. They both see the floor very well, so it'll be kind of a mix between both of them at times.
And then coming down out of that position, out of the point guard, and like you said, probably they'll play off each other at the 1 and the 2. Who do you see contributing, greatly from that returning starting crew?
Faith Cottrell was one of our top scorers from last year. She can shoot the ball a little bit from the outside, pretty quick with her left hand and get to the rim, and we can actually put her inside sometimes when we get some mismatches. So, I'm expecting a lot from Faith. Haley Conley will play inside for us, and she was hurt at times last year, but when she came back, she gave us a lot of good minutes. And then, we're expecting good things out of McKenna Crawford and Patience Chowning as well. So
I'll give you a little quick story. So I was out here just a couple nights ago doing the Powder Puff football game, and I was reffing in that particular game. And Faith, it was funny. The freshmen played the seniors first, and nobody wanted a piece of Faith. I mean, nobody wanted anything, any part of her. She came through that, and the defensive line position, she came through that offensive line, and it literally took 3 girls to stop her.
Yes.
So she's got a little bit of tude to go with everything else, and that's good.
Yes.
We need that, especially if we're going to be down a little bit in height.
Yes,
so
sir.
what about new contributors? So we talked a little bit about that returning starting crew. What about the new contributors this year?
Yeah, that sophomore class, you can speak from the Powder Puff because they won that.
They did.
They are a tough-nosed group of girls. They will play hard. They will leave it all on the floor. They're not afraid to dive after loose balls. I'm expecting good things from Natalie Lay, Miranda Crawford, Avery Cranmer, Amanda Wilson. And then we have Caden Reville, who hasn't played since 7th grade, who's playing this year. Gives us a little bit more size inside. But, I'm going to get some contributions from a lot of girls this year.
And looking at the league, so you kind of talked about your season outlook compared to where you were last year. Who are the big players in the league in girls basketball? Who do you think might be bringing back a pretty strong team? And then who do you think might have something together to where they're going to be challenging to other teams this year?
Wilmington, obviously, they return a lot with Maya Jackson.
Right.
She's going to Seton Hall. Goshen returns quite a bit. They have the Gar girl. Not very many teams graduated much last year, so across the board, the league should be pretty solid. New Richmond was, won a lot more games last year, so I think the league will be solid this year.
So just speaking briefly on Maya Jackson, I think she is a special player and
Yes, she
somebody
is.
that we've gotten to see over the last couple of years. Now, what year is she going to be in this year?
She's going to be a senior.
She's going to be a senior. So it's one of those where it's been fun while you've been here, but we're going to be glad to see you go. So
Definitely.
no, but just is that who you would see probably initially as the player of the year for the league? I mean, she's just that different.
Most definitely. Like you said, she's a special basketball player, really works hard, and it would be I would be shocked if she wasn't.
So looking at the schedule, what about your non-conference opponents? So we know that Clinton-Massie football is pretty well known for taking on all comers, and I know that the basketball team has already set their schedule, and I know you have yours set as well. So talk a little bit about your out-of-league opponents. Who's somebody that you're kind of interested in, and who's somebody maybe you don't know anything about?
We picked up CJ this year, so it just depends with them. Sometimes they're on, sometimes they're off. So it'll be interesting to see what they have. Legacy Christian, we played them twice last year, and where they had some solid players, and they were a very solid basketball team, so we wanted to play them again, feel like that would be good for us. And then we're going to play Eastern Brown outside of conference, so they should be solid as well. And then we play Bland and East Clinton, and there's not an easy game on there.
Excellent. So looking at it that season, if there's maybe 2 or 3 keys to the season going well, put the record aside for just a second. As the head coach and as someone that's been with the program now a few years, you're going into what year as the head coach?
This will be my third year.
Third year as the head coach, similar to Todd Cook as
Yes,
well.
sir.
So just what makes a successful season for you? So it's not necessarily about the wins and losses. What are you going to look at and say, yes, this went well, I believe we grew, I think we were getting better as a program?
I just look at how we did at the beginning of the season compared to how we did at the end of the season and say, did we get to where we wanted to get? Say we don't reach our goal of how many wins we had, but did we reach what we wanted to do? And I feel like the girls that I have and the successful season that the volleyball team had, I'm hoping that success will carry over with us, and we'll play hard, and as long as we get better each game and to the end of the season, I feel that's a success.
Excellent.
In itself.
Yeah, I think that's when you're building a program and you're still young in your building of this program, it's very important to just continue to get better, just
Yes.
making sure you're getting better, not only from game to game, but from year to year. And like you said, building on the first year, your first year to your second year, increase the wins, which is important, but probably feel even better about the effort. And just talk just for a second about the defensive philosophy compared to the offensive philosophy. I know you want to get out and go on offense. On defensively, what do you think is going to be the benefit for your team to change those defensive up, and what defense do you think they're going to be strong at?
I'm a big believer in man-to-man.
Right.
But, at times you have to be able to say, all right, look, that's not working.
Right.
So, if man-to-man's not working for us, we're not afraid to play a 1-3-1 or
Right.
a 1-2-2 or press, or, just change things up. Because, if you give them different looks a little bit every now and then, they have to think a little bit. And then, so.
You're just trying to slow them down for just a second. That could be
Yes,
the difference maker right
definitely,
there. Yeah,
yes.
excellent.
And like I said, as long as teams can say, man, they play hard, and, that's what we're looking for.
Right. So just overall, Tim McGraw here sharing some of his thoughts, some of his feelings about the Clinton-Massie girls, the varsity program. Just for a moment, touch base with us on the JV, touch base with us at the junior high level. So who are your coaches, and what's expectations there?
Yeah, I've got Ed Machado coaching the
Yes.
JV team. Ed's been a long time.
Yeah.
He's been here with us for a long time.
Right.
Sam Schlegel is my varsity assistant.
Okay.
And then we've got Casey Utrick helping out this year as well.
Excellent.
So, getting somebody in there.
Blast from the past, huh?
Blast from the past that's went through the program, knows what
Right.
it takes to win, played at the college level. And then in the junior high, we have Brianna Machado and Jerome Ray coaching the junior high girls.
Excellent. So looking for good seasons out of all of those teams. Like you said, not necessarily about wins and losses, about getting better every single
Yes,
game,
sir.
and then within the season getting better from the start to the finish. So
Yes, sir.
we'd like to thank Tim McGraw for his time this evening, kind of helping us out again, and
Yes, sir.
hopefully we'll be able to call on you in the near future on the basketball side of things. So Campus Nation, I'm sure, will look to broadcast some of the Clinton-Massie, both boys and girls, varsity events, and maybe as the boys are playing, you'll be able to come up and speak to us again.
Yes, sir. Thanks
Appreciate
for having
it,
me,
Coach.
sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So as we start into the second half, the teams, Wilmington Hurricane is back on the field. The special teams units for the Clinton-Massie Falcons also on the field. And as the Clinton-Massie Falcons return to the field. We're going to update just a little bit on some information from the first half. So your score is 49-0 with the Clinton-Massie Falcons up at this point. And if I believe I'm correct to say that they'll be starting, Clinton-Massie will be starting with the ball before, or as the second half kicks off, because Wilmington got the ball to start the game. So what do you think, EJ? I mean, a 49-0 score doesn't necessarily give you a lot of side to talk about from both sides. It sounds like a dominating performance, and honestly, it's been pretty dominating.
It has, and right now, like we said earlier, it's about motivation. Get out here for these seniors, these guys, give it all they can give it. You know, someone grabbed me at halftime and said they're a second-half team, but they said, I don't know how much second half, how long you're going to need to really come back. And so right now it's up to motivation. Leave it on the field. These seniors, it's their last half of football. So they're going to give it all they have and just go out with some pride, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see kind of when the back breaks. I mean, what's the straw that breaks the camel's back, we'll say. I think right now Wilmington has it in their head to not be embarrassed. So to them, embarrassing would be quitting.
Yeah.
Not quitting is the most important thing. Getting back out there, hitting hard, running the plays efficiently, and getting on the scoreboard at some point. I think at this point, it's that goose egg that's probably looking them in the face and they're not feeling so good about. The 49, it's going to be hard to come back from that, but having 0 on their side of the scoreboard is not something that they want to finish this game with.
Yeah, they want to get on the board. If nothing else, just put some points on the board tonight and get out there and just show, that they're not going to lay down or going to give up. And for Massie, it comes down to the question of, can we get healthy? When do we pull starters if this lead, is held up? And when do we pull the starters? When do we keep everybody healthy for next week? So
asking you earlier in the game, you said 35-0, maybe midway through the third quarter. If they stop them on the first couple drives, it's going to be 49-0 at midway through the third quarter. What are you thinking as a coach there about pulling your starters?
If I'm coach, I'm giving them a drive or two. I'm giving them a drive or two if I'm the starters, and especially if they put points up. If by chance they score again, it's 55, 56-0, I'm giving all my starters that I can, a break and saying, rest up, be healthy, and just enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yeah, Coach McSorley is not calling this game. He's not the one, calling the plays. He's not the one that's there on the sideline. But at this point, I'm sure he's interested in making a statement. Wilmington is a big rival, and it's somebody that he lost a coach to. Scott Killen was here for many, many years through some of the most successful years that Clinton-Massie has had. For him to leave here and go over there, I think they're amicable, but I don't know if there's a lot of love lost.
Yeah, and that's it. You never know with these coaches. They may come out and just stick it to them and leave those starters in the whole third quarter. But
yeah, we hope that's not the case, because we want this rivalry to continue and there to be an understanding that this night looks like the Massie Falcons are going to be the better team, but Wilmington has done a great job building their program. It's something that they want to continue to do, and a 4-5 record at this point, a potentially 4-6 record at the end of this game is not going to be acceptable to Scott Killen. He's got the resources over there he needs. Now it's just getting people, I think, more to believe in the culture of what he wants to do. And that's what I hear when I talk to Wilmington Hurricane supporters. It's not a lack of ability. It's not a lack of desire. It's not a lack of 1-2 for Scott Killen. It's about making sure everybody buys into his culture.
Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores. As you rattled off those names tonight, you see a young team that's going to be around for a while. And so they're going to build on this season, and they're going to be back, and they may come back in the next couple of years with a vengeance. Knowing this rivalry, they probably will. And so they're building a program and buying into Coach Killen and what they're doing over there. And so it'll definitely be interesting to see what comes in the next couple of years as these freshmen and sophomore grow up here.
Yeah, I'd say Wilmington is going to be just fine going into the future. Now, I think some of that is a little bit of just I don't want to say a Massie intimidation factor, because I don't believe that Wilmington is necessarily intimidated by him. But, Wilmington has seen this swing Massie's way for quite a few years in a row. couple close games at one point, but last year was a 45-0, I believe, win, and this one looks like it's going to be somewhere close within the vicinity of that. So I'm not sure that a little bit of it is just mental at this point with Wilmington and Clinton-Massie.
Yeah, and I think once one break goes against you, and like I said, the bobbles and the breaks went Massey's way. It didn't go Wilmington's way. A tip ball, and then Clinton-Massie gets it. That deflates you so quickly when you have balls that just get deflected and go the other way. So they kind of got deflated early and have had a hard time getting back into the game and getting motivated.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like you said, every bounce seems to have gone the way of the Clinton-Massie Falcons. So they're going to receive the second half kickoff. Back for them to receive looks like Carson Van Hoos and looks like potentially Garrett Trampler's back there. So,
and the good thing about Massey, for the fans that stick around, you get to watch some really good running backs come in the third and fourth quarter. Van Hoos could get in, and some of these running backs that are explosive that play on the freshman and JV team.
So Dalton Wolf's going to just down the ball at the 20-yard line. It was a low-level kick, kind of skipping across the grass. And I think Wilmington's seen enough film to know that they don't want the ball in Carson Van Hoos's hands, although he's probably going to have it in his hands a little bit later this evening. We're excited about getting to see him maybe get a couple touches, especially with that varsity line in front of him. But Clinton-Massie's going to be able to get the ball here to start the second half with just a couple clicks, about 22 clicks off the clock so far for that kickoff. 49-0 is your score. Brendan Lamb dots the I with Robbie Frederick right behind him. Looks like Clayton Shealy is going to be immediately to the right. Lamb is going to be met, but he's able to drive his legs and continue digging for just a couple extra yards here, and they're going to have a 2nd and 5, it looks like, from the – actually, it's going to be 2nd and 3. They gave him 7 yards on that. So excellent first down run by Brendan Lamb, again, met in the backfield, but was able to keep those legs turning, a little help from his offensive line.
Yeah, he knows how to push. That line pushes, and he knows to get with them, push that line. I know that doctor did tell him about 3 weeks ago, you don't need to carry 3 men on your back. Just go down, but that's easier said than done for him because he's going to fight for every yard, and then if he has an opening, he's going to hit it. So
yeah, Brendan Lamb's been dealing with a thigh injury, a quad injury, and this time Dalton Wolf is going to dot the I. Dalton's going to get the handoff as well. He makes one person miss, but he's met by a sea of white there by the Wilmington Hurricane, and it looks like he's going to bring a third down and what looks like about 2, maybe a long one. Nope, they're actually going to give him, they're moving this chains. I'll be honest with you, from this angle, it didn't look like he got there, but they're going to get it to the 30-yard line and give him a Clinton-Massie first down.
Yeah, pushed ahead, got that. You see Dalton getting some touches early in the season, was one of their premier running backs, kind of moved over with an injury and stayed on defense. But that's what you can't say enough about this good Massey team is the fact that when these guys move around or get shifted to a different position, the culture is just to get in, do your job, whether you're running back, quarterback, linebacker, lineman, and just give it everything. You can't say enough about the team culture on this team.
Cog and a wheel is what I think. So Nolan Prignitz actually gets into the game here, wide receiver. Jake Vaughn making one person miss, makes a nice cut right at the line of scrimmage, immediately moving to his right, and is able to get a good 6 yards on that first run. Again, Nolan Prignitz getting into the game at this point. Dalton Wolf in the backfield. You're starting to see just a little bit of sprinkling in of some different players to make sure that everybody's staying happy and healthy.
You might have seen 23 coming in there to hit the 1,000-yard. I had a couple fans tell me he was just a few yards away from getting that 1,000-yard mark for the season, so they may wanted to get him in there and get a carry and maybe hit that mark for him. And he's had a good night already, but now you're going to see some of the second stringers and backups really get some good reps tonight.
Devin Noble's in at receiver. The wishbone backfield goes to Dalton Wolf. Dalton Wolf is able to make one man slip and miss, and he's going to be right in front of that yard marker, which is going to move the chains again. So this is all you could ask for if you're Clinton-Massie. You want a nice, long, sustained drive of anywhere between 7 to 10 yards per run. You want to eat clock off time off the clock, and you've got the 49-0 score, so you're going to have a running clock in the second half unless Wilmington were able to score here in the next couple drives.
Yeah, and there's no need to run the score up. You don't need 4 or 5 touchdowns. You just need, like you said, long, sustaining drives. They've got, well-equipped backups that are just they aren't going to skip a beat at all. Yeah, they're going to come in here and play tough.
Excuse me, AJSR. They Robbie Frederick is able to get out of one tackle, got out of a ankle tackle, and is able to gain another about 7 yards after that first initial contact. So that's a 14-yard gain and another first down. Again, a back-breaking drive started so far by Clinton-Massie. This is not what Wilmington want to do. They want to get the ball back quick. Into the game this time is Cody Zantini. So Corey Stoltz is being pulled from the game right now. We might see that as his last play. Corey Stolton right now behind the varsity line with Dalton Wolf, Jake Vaughn, and Robbie Frederick in the backfield, as well as Colton Doyle's in at left at the tight end position. So Cody Zantini gets the ball, goes to Jake Vaughn. Jake Vaughn makes two people miss in the hole and is able, again, always falling forward.
Yep.
What I'm so impressed with Jake Vaughn, it doesn't matter if it looks like he's being tackled or not. He is going to get positive yardage. And then even after contact, he's moving the ball forward another couple yards. So it's going to be a quick initial burst there that gets him 8 yards, and it's going to be 2nd and 2, it looks like, or almost 3.
Yep, and you see, it's good to see these guys in the backups because, hey, next year's going to be here before you know it. Getting some good varsity experience is great for them, great for the Massie Falcons to get in here and get some reps.
Yeah, there's some interest with number 6 entering the game, Carson Van Hoos, kind of a touted freshman who's going to get the ball immediately. He's able to get the first down. He is met after about an initial 4-yard burst. He's going to be driven back about a yard or so, but it's going to be an easy first down for Clinton-Massie. Van Hoos, like you said, freshman. People are excited about him. They're excited about the possibility of the backfield coming up here in the next year or so. Still have Brendan Lamb coming back next year, Robbie Frederick coming back next year, but you sprinkle in a little Carson Van Hoos, and I think people are going to get excited on top of that. So Carter Frank looks like he's coming into the game. And Nolan Prignitz again returning at the wide receiver position. So, like you said, initially, first drive, you're keeping that offensive line in. It's still starting tight end. Colton Doyle's in there. But you've changed out the backfield, the quarterback, and the receiver. So, ball goes this time to Carter Frank. He does an excellent job getting a first initial burst of 7, almost 8 yards. And actually, they're going to give him the first down, but it looks like there's going to be a holding call on Clinton-Massie. Not that we want to say anything about it. The refs are doing a great job. In fact, this has been a very clean game. But it wouldn't be a surprise to me that, maybe every once in a while that yellow is going to come out to try to keep this game to slow down and maybe a little bit closer.
Yeah, and you got a running clock, so you're already halfway through the third quarter.
Absolutely.
Already in just one drive. And so that's what's going to happen. But, you're going to get some good reps in here for the backups and these guys that just want to get out here and play on a Friday night under the lights. And so you'll see the depth of Clinton-Massie football and Clinton-Massie running back here in these third and fourth quarters of this game.
Yeah, 17, Donald Brewer's a sophomore that's going to enter the game at wide receiver. So Nolan Prignitz is going to jog off. Donald Brewer is going to take his place on the sideline, or I'm sorry, at receiver. So it's wishbone backfield, one receiver left. Cody Zantini goes for the fullback dive. So the only person still in the game at the backfield or any kind of specials position would be Robbie Frederick. And at this point, if he breaks another one for a touchdown, oh my goodness, somebody get him a game ball, and that Kiwanis-sponsored trophy might have to go to him later on tonight.
It's Robbie Rev It Up Fredericks tonight. He's getting with it. He almost broke one a couple plays ago and just got tripped up. But, man, what an effort. And here comes some of the linemen out of the game. They're putting in some of the younger fellas to come in here and give these guys a break, let them get good and healthy before next week.
Now, I don't know if the seniors would have thought this when the evening starts, that by the start of the second half into the third quarter, that you'd have a reserve line. And other than Robbie Frederick, and the ball's on the ground, and it looks like Wilmington's going to have that recovery. So it looks like a bobbled snap. Cody Zantini came out just a little bit early, or the ball didn't make it quite up to his hands, and the ball was immediately on the ground and scooped up by Wilmington. So varsity defense is coming back onto the field. Other than Davis Wolf and Robbie Frederick, the offense have been changed out for JV players at this point.
Yeah, and the JV guys are learning what it's like to play under the lights, under the rain. So they're going to get some experience here and not the best weather conditions. So you're going to clean that up, clean up the bobble, and they'll be all right. They're learning as they go here.
Defense sets up against Brady Evans and his 2-receiver, 2-running back look. Bryce Seaman puts a nice hit on Mayer. And the thing about the Wilmington running game, with Brady Evans 5 yards deep in that shotgun look, and then the running back behind him, it's 6 yards before he ever gets to the line of scrimmage. And at that, he got maybe 3 yards. Seemed like he ran an awful long time to get 3 yards.
And that's the one thing you notice about a spread offense and a shotgun quarterback in the shotgun is when it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. For those guys, it's about 3rd and 9.
Right.
So I know a lot of people think, well, you run all the time, but man, you can set up some nice 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s.
So Brady Evans just drops the ball right in front of a defensive back that's Garrett Trampler to make sure that it's going to be incomplete because he had an extreme amount of pressure by Clinton-Massie, and that time it was put on by Bryce Seaman.
Yep. And, this Massey defense doesn't want to give up any points. They want to hang the goose egg on them and keep that streak going in conference. So they're going to give it everything they got tonight, but Wilmington's not going to slow down either, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like, as you said, EJ, the third quarter's quickly moving. It's 2:50 left in the third quarter, so we're almost through an entire quarter of play, and we've had one offensive series by Clinton-Massie and a second play coming here from the Wilmington Hurricane. So Brady Evans sets up in a 2-by-2 look with one running back to his immediate right, gets the ball open, he floats one. That's brought in. It looks like intercepted by Garrett Trampler. Yep, it's going to be an interception, and honestly, we kind of saw that coming over the last few pass plays. Garrett Trampler has done an excellent job, as well as Corey May, playing inside receiver position, keeping his head back towards the ball so it's not pass interference, no hands on, hands in front. And honestly, he just went and climbed a ladder and got the ball in that one.
Yeah, and you can't say enough about these DBs all night long. Making plays, being in the right spot,
Excellent
turning their
job.
heads at the right time. And so that's good. Going into the playoffs, when you could see these kind of spread offenses, this is the kind of plays you love seeing this Massey defense make.
And there's times where people have made mention about Clinton-Massie defensive backfield and, at times giving up some yards or some plays, but they have really shown up tonight. Did an excellent job with a couple interceptions. Brock Speaks having one of those, and then an early interception. And Cody Zantini brings the wishbone offense back, gives to number 34 for Clinton-Massie, and that's going to be Colton Trampler. So we know the Trampler name quite well. We started with Weston Trampler last year, excellent senior leader and just a fine young man as well. And then we have Garrett Trampler, who's a junior this year, has been starting a full 2 years now as a sophomore and a junior, excellent young man as well. Character, I think, is the way I would describe both of those high-character kids.
Great family.
Yeah, great family. And then you got Colton Trampler, who, believe it or not, is probably going to be the size of Weston with maybe the speed of Garrett. So nice little mix between those two. And even if he's not that fast, we'll give him credit right now for it. So
That's right.
I've got a quick funny story for him. So Colton Trampler's a freshman. I do all the pep rallies and the fun stuff, and I needed a freshman tug-of-war team. So I called him down to the office so he could gather the tug-of-war team. Colton Trampler walked in about 200 pounds, looking like he had just worked out for about 2 hours. I said, my goodness, Colton, you are getting huge. I mean, what are you eating? What are you getting fed at the Trampler household? He is putting on some size very quickly here as a freshman, and I think he's going to carry on that Trampler tradition. So Clinton-Massie looks like a fullback dive is going to go. Nope, that's to Carter Frank, so it's going to be enough for a first down. And Killen's on the field, still coaching it up, still trying to make sure his defense is ready to go. So we have a few score updates we'd like to pass on to you. It looks like the Wyoming Cowboys are up right now on the Indian Hill Braves 12-7. That's an important game for the Region 14 Harbins because Wyoming's probably going to end up at number 1 if they beat Indian Hill. Well, most certainly they will be number 1 if they beat Indian Hill. If Indian Hill actually wins, that will put them up to Wyoming at 3, and that could put Clinton-Massie up to number 1. Carson Van Hoos with the carry. Van Hoos is going to get about 4 yards on first down, and he's able to end the third quarter. So that's actually going to be the last play of the third quarter, up 49-0. We know that that's a quick quarter right there when it's a constant running clock. Also, a quick score of note: the Springboro Panthers are up 28-0 at half on the Lebanon Warriors. Lebanon Warriors are looking for a playoff berth. But if they don't beat Springboro, I think they're going to be done for the rest of the year. So it's a shame for Lebanon. So we're going to try to get you a few more scores and updates. Really want to try to find a Shawnee Indians versus Plain City Jonathan Alder. That's who we'd want to try to find right now. And right now, looks like it's 7-7 at the half. So a very important game. That winner is probably going to face Clinton-Massie in the first round of the playoffs. And it looks like Jonathan Alder and the Shawnee Braves, sorry about that, Shawnee Braves are tied at 7-7 at halftime. We'll hopefully continue to update that as the game goes on. We have a little Sweet Caroline, I believe, being played. He actually told me this week during the week that he was going to do this. The third to fourth quarter break is going to be a Sweet Caroline break. So Clinton-Massie brings their offense back onto the field at this point. Bum, bum, bum. Yep. Clinton-Massie brings that JV offense, the line and the running backs back onto the field with Donald Brewer split out to the right. Running back Colton Trampler is going to get the ball on the fullback dive, and he's able to get about a yard, a nice hard-earned yard. This freshman team, well-touted freshman team, they have had some big wins this year. Wins against Upper Arlington, wins against Moeller, wins against some very, very interesting opponents for a Division IV team to play a lot of Division I teams. Also, quickly, a very interesting score. Coldwater, which beat Clinton-Massie in the second game of the season, is up 20-0 on the Marion Local Flyers. So that's not something Marion Local's used to seeing. A 0 on the scoreboard and a bigger score on the other side, we'll say.
Coldwater's a lot like Massey. They'll play bigger teams, higher divisions than they are, and just get good competition. But wow, 20-0 score.
That's a surprise. So Van Hoos is stopped by the Wilmington Hurricane defense. Looks like it's going to be fourth down and about 5 yards. I think you're still in that kind of no man's land at this point. You're definitely not trying to field goal at on the 37-yard line. It's going to be over a 50-yard field goal. So
sure would like to see number 6 get it around the end here. See if they can't get him on the outside, open up that speed for him.
And if you know Clinton-Massie football setting up in this double slot look, single fullback, that's probably what's going to be. Motion goes to him. He is going to run. He's going to tuck it, and he's going to get the first down easily. He pushes off a defender, drags another one out of bounds. So number 6, Carson Van Hoos, gets the first down, plus another about 15 or so. That kid is going to be a special player.
I don't know how many people have told me with his speed is his strength.
Right.
And how he's small, but, man, he's dynamite, and he can carry some guys down the field. What a play by Van Hoos there.
Very interesting note here. Trotwood Madison, that's also looking to hang on by their fingernails to their hopes of a D3 playoff run, is up 28-21 against the Wayne Warriors. So a lot of scores and updates trying to get for you here as the evening progresses. Making sure to keep an eye on Jonathan Alder and the Shawnee Braves, because that winner is probably facing Clinton-Massie in the first round playoffs here at Frank Irelan Field. Carter Frank gets the ball, driving his feet, driving his leg. That offensive line's holding up against a varsity defensive line. You got to understand, some of these guys are freshmen, a couple sophomores. I do see 1 or 2 juniors in there, but a young set of kids that's facing 18 and 17-year-old young men on the other side of the field. So 49-0 is your score with 9 minutes and 15 seconds left. And I know it's a running clock, but Clinton-Massie's doing a fabulous job just eating up time at this point, trying to get this game over quick. I don't think it's important to score. It's important to get healthy and stay healthy.
They've caught off the dogs as far as that goes. Now
Absolutely.
They're just going to march down here, hopefully get a score for these younger fellas.
So Cody Zantini's going to get swallowed up by the Hurricane defense. Decided to keep it himself on that option right look, and he's going to lose a couple yards on that. So it's going to be third down, and they're going to drop him back about a yard and a half, almost 2 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 9 from the Wilmington, looks like 20, almost 23-yard line. So Clinton-Massie is up by quite a bit right now. Here's a score note to you. Western Brown, the Broncos are up 29-6 on the Batavia Bulldogs. So any chance that Batavia had a chance to get into the playoffs is going to be put to rest if that score stays the same. Carson Van Hoos, nice contact outside near the sideline, and he's able to gain a few yards, but he's still going to be quite a bit of ways from the first down. So it's going to be 4th down and still looking at probably around – oh, no, actually, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to call a hold on Clinton-Massie, so that's going to move the ball quite a bit, and it's going to be a much, much longer 3rd down attempt here. So we'll see what Clinton-Massie has in store. You can't expect that they're going to allow Zantini to pass, So we'll see what kind of run they have set up, see if they can get either Carson Van Hoos or maybe Carter Frank outside on this next play. The London Red Raiders are down 28-8 to the Whitehall Yearling Rams. So I knew that was going to be a good game. Whitehall Yearling has had an excellent year. Carter Frank in motion this time. He's going to get the pitch. Van Hoos blocks, but Carter's going to put the ball on the ground, and that's going to be recovered by Wilmington, but they're blowing him dead. Yeah, that's actually the second fumble recovery for number 45 for the Wilmington Hurricane, who is a freshman.
Big boy.
Brett Brooks, yeah. I remember that young man actually as an 8th grader last year, and he stood apart from the rest, we'll say.
And he's mobile.
Because of his size. And, yeah, it looks like in the future they might need to move him to the backfield because looks like a big young man there and a very fast and athletic young man. 2 fumble recoveries for number 45 this evening for Wilmington. So they're going to be able to set up, bring their varsity offense back out here. They're looking to score. They want to get the goose egg off that side of the scoreboard. And it looks like the varsity defense looks like Devin Noble is in there at the defensive end position. So most of the varsity defense is there ready to go. Looks like Wilmington setting up in the 2x2. Brady is in the shotgun snap. He's going to air this out, but the ball is overthrown by probably a good 15 yards of Cam Coomer. Cam Coomer, I don't know if there might have been a little bit of a miscommunication there.
Yeah, you see Brady not giving up, making some throws down the field, which they like we said earlier, they're going to take some of these home run balls and go for the big play, and they're going to try to get 7 points on the board before this night's over. And Massie D and cornerbacks just staying with them all night long.
So they bring in another defensive back and take one of their defensive linemen out. So obviously Brady decides to hand the ball off and run the ball, and that's excellent. Excellent job being the field general for Wilmington Hurricane. You know, you have to think in your mind for just a second what Brady's thinking. I understand they do throw a lot more at Wilmington, and that's going to give him some opportunities if he wants to take his game to the next level. But at some point, you know, the wins have to come. And if he would have been a Massey Falcon, he would have had a lot of wins, probably been in the state championship game last year in some capacity. Corey May brings the ball out of bounds as Custis brings that ball in, and he's able to get a 2nd and 5 left for the Wilmington Hurricane. So starting to sprinkle in a few more JV guys on defense and see if Clinton-Massie can keep them out of the end zone. Ball's handed off again. At this point, with so few defensive linemen in, they're going to try to hand the ball off and maybe squirt one out with 6 defensive backs in the game at this point, with Wilmington down 49-0 with 5:33 left in the fourth quarter. It's time to just go for broke, I'd say, at this point.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen here. You see the difference between JV and varsity. JV struggled to move that ball, and you see this going to take some – oh, and there's a drop.
Yeah, Custis dropped that ball. I mean, it is wet. It's cold. He's had good hands all night. Doesn't wear gloves. I think that was interesting to see. I noticed that he is not wearing any kind of receiver gloves, a few of them. And I think at some point that technology doesn't work as well in the rain as it does when it's dry weather out.
Yeah.
So right now, Brady Evans sets up in a 2x2 look with one running back to his left. That time he gets it and he goes out of bounds. Excellent job by Wilmington realizing that they need to save as much time off the clock as possible. That's why they, with the running clock, though, unfortunately, that's not doing them any good. So I apologize.
Still rolling.
Yeah, it's still rolling, ladies and gentlemen. So they're going to try to get this ball into the end zone. 2x2 look for Wilmington Hurricane. Brady Evans takes the shotgun snap with his running back immediately to the left. That's Mayer. Ball's in the air, and it's swatted down by number 16, Nolan Prignitz. That's an excellent play on the ball. Nolan Prignitz able to come around the receiver, Cam Coomer, number 4 for Wilmington Hurricane, and knock the ball down. So good job by Nolan Prignitz, getting a little time on the field right now and seeing what he can do with it.
But a great pass rush by number 68, Braxton Green. Got around the end there, put a lick on him there. So good pass rush by these young guys, getting in there, getting some playing time.
Absolutely. Braxton Green's a great player and has been for the last couple of years. Knew that he was going to be able to help at the varsity level this year. He's still in as a varsity starter. Devin Noble's going to book in his other end there, other side. Brock Speaks and Bryce Seaman are Seaman on the blitz right now. And actually, he's going to bring down Brady Evans. Nope. That's Braxton Green. You just mentioned it.
Yes, just put the bull rush. Just got low, got past his guy, and just drove him back. Great opportunities. He's saying, hey, you want to give me some opportunities? I'm gonna make the most of them. Great play.
And that was quite a bit of yardage loss in that sack. So it's going to be third and about 21 yards from the Wilmington 37-yard line. Quite a loss on that play by Brady Evans. I know at the last second he was trying to get rid of the ball but wasn't able to get rid of it and just had to eat it to the carpet. So Mayer is going to be met in the backfield by Brody Muterspaw, number 55, sophomore. Great defensive lineman for the JV team, and he's going to be a contributor next year. I can tell you, the kid is a grinder. In fact, that's my nickname for him. Even when I see him in class, see him in the hallways, I call him the grinder because he just will not let up. He might not be the biggest and the fastest guy out there, but he is going to come after you every single play until eventually you take one off and he gets you.
But these young guys don't want to give these varsity guys. They don't want to give up any points. They don't want to come into the game. Yeah, they've held them this far. They've really stepped up this fourth quarter and made some big plays. This Massey defense.
Yeah, I think the defense has been excited to keep that 0. So they don't even put a punt returner back, and it takes a fantastic bounce for Wilmington, and that's actually going to go all the way down to the 5-yard line. So Clinton-Massie is going to have a 95-yard field with only 2 minutes and 18 seconds left. So the clock does stop on the change of possession. 2:18 left with 95 yards of green grass in front of them. But I'll tell you what, I've seen it already. Carson Van Hoos, Carter Frank can break one of these.
Yeah.
And they can go 95 yards.
Yeah, and there goes Van Hoos right now, number 6. And so they want to break one, get their time to shine here on Friday night. But Wilmington's done a great job of adjusting the second half against some younger guys they're playing against now. But they don't want to give any more points up. They've played a great second half, and they want to kind of hold Massey to no more points here.
Yeah, as a senior, I'm sure there's some seniors out there that are just trying to relish the last 2 minutes of their high school football career, do whatever they can to keep the points off the board. Van Hoos is going to bounce it outside. He's able to break one. I told you. He's taking off down the sideline. He's going to be caught, though.
He's caught.
By number 20, and he's going to come up limping. That's not a good sign, actually. So he got pulled down from the backside, and he limps off the field.
That's
and
not good.
yeah, he's in a kind of a heap of pain there on the right-hand side. So I can't believe that, be honest with you. Number 20 for Wilmington, which is Ben McAllister, who's a senior actually, listed at 6'1", 170-pound defensive back, was able to catch Carson Van Hoos as he came around the right-hand side, made 2 people miss, and got outside to about the 49-yard line, but did get caught from behind. And at this point, Cody Zantini's just going to knee the ball. They've got a first down. They can take the knee and get this thing over with so we can get done and get out of here. So, yeah, that Wilmington, I don't know what that's accomplishing. So number 58 is actually going to be sent off to the sideline. Clearly, they're just taking a knee, and number 58 in a lot of frustration and a frustrated moment probably all evening. Elijah Rockhold is just going to bail through the line, and it doesn't really accomplish much. So he's on the sideline for the rest of this game, which is only 40 seconds left at this point. Cody Zantini gets under center that's Clayton Fairchild at center.
Good formation.
Puts the victory formation, puts the hand up, snaps the ball, takes the knee. And I would say, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. So with only 23 seconds left, they're going to let the clock run out. As we bring a few things together here towards the end of the game, we're just going to first announce that Clinton-Massie takes care of business as the clock hits 0, 49-0. Great first half for sure for the varsity on both the offense and defensive sides of the ball. They do keep the 0 on the board. So Clinton-Massie was able to keep the 0 on the board and keep the touchdown streak going there until New Richmond broke that last week. They had been able to keep everybody off the board, but want to continue with as few scored points as possible in the league, and they're doing that job again tonight. So Wilmington, obviously pretty dejected. Didn't expect to probably come in here and take a 49-0 loss. I was hoping probably against hope to be able to do something and do something a little bit different. Clinton-Massie is able to bring this game to a close. 49-0 is your score, and we're going to talk a little bit about the talk a little bit about the game itself. I mean, what did you see, EJ, as Clinton-Massie gets ready to go into the playoffs? What are some of the things that you noticed right away?
Well, what I liked was their defense, of course, all night long. I love their pass defense. When you face teams in the playoffs that has a spread that has 3, 4, 5 wide receivers, you couldn't ask for anything better than how your DBs played tonight. So you're just good to see that. The running game, efficient. I mean, I don't know how many yards per carry, but, I mean, this Massey team was rolling like they do. Yeah. You hate to see there at the very end Van Hoos come up limping after that great run, but relatively healthy. And so you want to go in healthy. You want your guys to be healthy, and you want to win a rivalry game. You know, like we said earlier, you can throw the records out the door. And, hey, when you're in the victory formation 49-0, you couldn't ask for anything better than that after a night like this.
Yeah, and I know we're going to have a presentation here of the Backyard Bash Trophy. The trophy this year is going to stay with Clinton-Massie as it has so far for the last few years. With a win of 49-0, Clinton-Massie takes the victory tonight at Frank Irelan Field. But again, I think you're nailing it right, nail on the head. I am a little bit concerned seeing Carson Van Hoos and the doctors and trainers around him. I want to make sure that young man is okay, good young man, and somebody that's going to be special for the Clinton-Massie Falcons in the near future as he makes a run, hopefully, for us in the next few years in the offensive backfield. So Wilmington and Clinton-Massie have joined together. A few of their cheerleaders are together and a few activity coordinators out there because this trophy is an important piece of this rivalry. Staying over here on the Falcon side of the field for another year. Wilmington is being talked to by Scott Killen, their head coach. 4-6 is where they're going to end. 9-1 is where Clinton-Massie is going to end, and they're going to get ready for Week 11 here at Frank Irelan Field. They're going to be hosting a playoff game, more than likely the number 2 seed. If the Wyoming Cowboy Indian Hill score stands up, it's going to end up being Wyoming is the number 1 seed, and Clinton-Massie is the number 2 seed. So we'll be home next week for a playoff game.
Is that Friday or Saturday, Matt?
You know what? I'm not sure. They won't announce just yet. Yeah, because they're going to get all the Harbins and everything taken care of, and then they'll announce which games are going to be on Fridays, which games are going to be on Saturdays. It does switch back this year to divisions per night, where they tried to stick all the games on Friday nights, and I guess attendance started to drop a little bit and wasn't the way they wanted to head, so now they're splitting them back up. So we'll see what Division 4, either they play on Friday or Saturday nights, and then we'll see what opponent that they get in the first round.
Will there be pre-sale tickets at the school, or how
I
does
believe
that work?
so,
Okay.
yeah. Usually available at the Clinton-Massie Central office. Will be pre-sale tickets for the playoff game, and we would want anybody that wants to buy tickets for the game to get them through the central office because we're able to keep a little bit of that money in the athletic department. Yes. While you're there, say hi to the superintendent here. He's a pretty nice guy.
Pretty good guy.
Yeah, easy to talk to, something like that. But come get your tickets during the week. It'll be an exciting time here at Frank Irelan Field.
Will they go
for
on
the first
Tuesday,
round.
Wednesday, Thursday?
It could be all the way till Wednesday. It'll depend on what we get from OHSAA. As soon as they're available, I'm sure we'll make them known through Clinton-Massie website, Facebook page, Instagram, every social media outlet that you can think of. So we're trying to check a few scores and get you a few updates here. We have our cracked media staff behind us working tirelessly to get those scores updated for us, and we'll get those to you as soon as possible. So, EJ, as you're going into the playoffs, minus the Van Hoos injury that concerns you, what are some things that you saw that you're interested in that you want to see maybe cleaned up before next week?
Well, you definitely, after last week, one of the penalties cleaned up. And minus a couple there at the end, I thought they played a pretty good game with as far as penalty goes, maybe 1 or 2 there in the third and fourth quarter. So they cleaned that up. Their line looked great. Their defense looked great. Really, after last week, it's kind of shocked it was 21-7. You thought it would be a bigger spread. But this week they came out hitting on all the cylinders, and that's what you want. They're hitting on all cylinders, playing great ball, limiting the penalties. So just a good time, a good look for them heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, player of the game is Robbie Frederick, just announced, and well-deserved. Besides the 3 touchdowns, the yardage was unbelievable. We do have a scoring update that's very important to this particular school here. We're going to decide who our first-round playoff game is, and it looks like the Shawnee Braves have taken a lead of 14-7 over the Jonathan Older the Plain City Jonathan Alder team that puts them in the playoffs. I mean, if Shawnee wins, they're in the playoffs. If Jonathan Alder wins, they're probably in the playoffs, and that's who will play in the first round. So players of the game for Clinton-Massie on defense. Looks like Spencer Branham's going to win that side for the Clinton-Massie Falcons. He did have a fantastic game. I don't know if they credited him with the punt block early in the game, but I know he was in on that and then made some real nice defensive plays in the backfield.
Yeah, and this is kind of a neat thing you see between the two teams here at the end. Get some awards and just great sportsmanship, great rivalry, but be able to shake hands after the game and just enjoy each other's company for a few minutes.
So another scoring update, because they're ahead of us in the Harbin rankings. Wyoming is 23-7 right now over the Indian Hill Braves. Gray Navy's going to win the Special Teams Award.
There's Gravy.
Yeah, there's Gravy. He's pouring it on thick tonight. I tell you, did a great job at PATs. Didn't need any field goal attempts tonight because honestly, they didn't have a lot of opportunities to do that. Only went for it on fourth down twice because they were deep into their side of the field. So great job by Grand Navy, and I'm sure he's excited to take his talents into the first round of the playoffs. So as we're updating you right now, we do have a final. That is a Region 16 final. That's the Taft Senators has beaten the Woodward Bulldogs 35-14. So Taft does exactly what they're supposed to do and end their season at 8-1. They're going to try to run up the Harbin rankings in Region 16. They're going to need a loss by either London or Waverly, and right now London is losing to Whitehall Yearling. The last score we had was 28-8. 28-15 now, actually. Whitehall Yearling is shortened their lead just a little bit against the London Red Raiders. So Red Raiders hope to get back and win that one so they can stay in the maybe 4 or 5 position in the Harbin rankings. If they drop, then the Taft Senators are going to be able to move up just a little bit in that. So great game tonight. Exciting night for Clinton-Massie football. Good season for Wilmington Hurricane. I'm sure they'd like a few things to have gone different, but tonight they're unfortunately on the short side of a 49-0 victory by Clinton-Massie Falcons. For E.J. Lamb, my vaunted co-host, this is Matt Baker signing off and wishing you a fantastic rest of the evening, a great weekend, and we'll see you very soon. Join us at Campus Nation tomorrow when we'll be broadcasting from Central State with the Central State versus Tuskegee game. It's going to be a very exciting game, a lot of scoring, and that's at 12:30. So 12:30, Campus Nation. Join us for Tuskegee versus Central State. Have a great rest of the evening and a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen.